All right, Smyrna got a stalled vehicle, left shoulder blocked, 24 eastbound near Sam Ridley Parkway. Then 65 northbound in Madison, you've got the left two lanes blocked by a crash there at the Due West Avenue overpass. If you are traveling west of Nashville, just know that westbound 40 is down to one lane at exit 143 due to bridge work. It is the right lane that is blocked. That is a 10-mile backup, 145-minute delay. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello there. Welcome, one and all. My name is Matt Murphy, and this is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, conveniently so. It is Friday, November 7, 2025. We've got a busy broadcast for you, and I hope you're here for every single moment of it. Lots of guests today, more than normal on these Fridays, but we'll try to slip in some telephone calls when we are able as well. 615-737-9986. You guys know one of my favorite parts of the broadcast day is to interact with the listening audience. Absolutely love doing so on the telephones, love doing so on the super text line, and I love every single one of you. Even if you disagree with me, I absolutely love me some of you. Like, I love Ken Weaver in the Super Talk 99.7 WTN News Closet B, even when he wears that awful hat, which he wears often on these Fridays. But that's okay, because I don't have to face the Boomer Sooner Brigade, at least during the regular season, like some teams have had to. Ken Weaver's back in News Closet B. He's gathering headlines right now. Jackson Williams is behind the glass, making sure that everything that comes out of our speakers sounds as good as humanly possible. What's going on, Jackson?
Nothing much.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
You happy for Friday?
Yeah, but no football this weekend.
There's plenty of football this weekend, Jackson. There's a lot of football.
None of the teams I follow are playing.
Jackson, here's the deal. It is a liberating feeling. I thought this the other week when Georgia was off. It is a wonderful and liberating opportunity for you to watch football without the stress of needing a victory or the stress of watching the Titans screw up every game that they seem to play. How the hell? Who did the Titans beat?
The Cardinals.
How in the hell did they do that?
An act of God. No, I mean, it was the most three improbable things that have ever happened on a football field.
It
happened
was.
in succession in one quarter.
I remember that.
And the Titans won.
Otherwise, they'd be undefeated. Or, defeated.
Yes.
The Tennessee Titans, our beloved Tennessee Titans, are like miracles away from having a defeated season so far. Not undefeated, defeated.
Literally three of the most improbable things.
Oh.
The Cam Ward threw a pick, and it ended up in a touchdown for the Titans.
Yes.
And they ran a 70-yard touchdown.
That's right, because he threw a pick, and the guy ran it back, and then he fumbled, and the guy picked up the fumble and scored or something.
He picked it up in the end zone.
Oh, my gracious.
And then they ran a 70-yard touchdown, the Cardinals did, and they fumbled through the back of the end zone.
That's right.
Which is, what is that, Titans ball?
And then the most improbable of it all, the Titans ran a competent 2-minute drill to kick a field goal to win the game.
Man, oh, man. Anyway, we don't have to worry about that this weekend. I'll be at the game next week.
Who are they playing?
Jacksonville.
Oh, another loss.
Probably. I'll be there with, just wave at me. I'll be the guy in the hat.
I don't know. They're struggling too, aren't they?
No, they're real good.
Oh, no, I'm thinking of somebody else.
I don't think anybody's struggling like the Titans are struggling.
No.
I mean, the Titans are on path for another number one draft pick, which is the only solace for this season.
Well, it's kind of like what Cam Ward said earlier. If they stay a buck, they're ass.
What?
He said if we keep it a buck, we're ass.
Yeah.
I don't understand.
$1. One win.
Oh, I see. We stayed a buck, we're ass.
Yeah. No, like if we keep it a buck means if we're being honest, we're ass.
Oh, I see.
I thought it meant just one.
Oh.
He said that before they won a game.
Oh. Yeah.
Well, the last half of that statement, there's no confusion about what he's saying.
Well, after that, he said, we've
Ass.
lost a quarter of our bleeping games.
Well, Cam Ward doesn't like losing.
He does not.
Matt Murphy doesn't like losing. Ken Weaver doesn't like losing.
No, sir.
Jackson, you like losing?
No,
Brother Jackson does not.
No.
I don't take losses well. I'm still mad.
Jackson was angriest about losing to Oklahoma in as much as he couldn't yell at you, Ken, because he said you're too nice. I don't know if I told you that or not.
I yelled that into this microphone.
You know what we did last night after the show, Ken? Jackson and I?
What's that?
We sat around wondering who at the radio station's asses we could kick if we had to.
and it was me.
No. We both agreed that we couldn't fight you.
No, you're too wily and too nice.
You're too wily and too low to the ground.
I've got low center of gravity.
You've got a low center of gravity, and I don't know that I could get – the only way to beat Ken Weaver is to get to that goatee and pull it, and I don't think I can get that low.
Well, all I have to do is pull it, and I disappear.
like a little gnome.
Yeah.
Like one of those magic gnomes.
I'll just pop up, and I'll be on your shoulder.
Oh, my goodness. That'll be nightmares for tonight. Thank you,
when
Ken.
I think of, decisions I have to make in my life, there's a good Ken Weaver and a bad Ken Weaver on my shoulders.
Oh, to hell with it, Jackson. Go ahead and pop that White Claw. Let's go. And then the good Ken Weaver. Now, Jackson.
You got to drive home.
You got to drive home. You got to get
Brother
home safe.
Jackson.
Can't do that. And then bad Ken Weaver. Oh, I could see that. Little devil horns on the bad Ken Weaver. Little forked tongue and pitchfork.
Oh, it's
I
just
just
White
think
Claw, Brother Jackson.
The bad Ken Weaver is wearing an Oklahoma hat. The good Ken Weaver is wearing a Tennessee hat.
I do need to get a Tennessee hat.
Why do you need to get a Titans hat?
Yeah. No. Well, I've got a Titans hat,
Okay.
but I need a Vols hat. I need a Vandy hat, too.
You
I
know.
like having all the teams' hats.
I'll be at that game tomorrow. Go in that game.
Oh, you're
tomorrow.
going to the Vandy game? Mm-hmm. I hope you're rooting for the other team.
I will be dressed. I'll be the guy dressed in Georgia gear, so I don't know what to tell y'all.
Everybody will know his brother.
Oh,
Murphy.
you're that guy?
No, I'm not that guy.
You're that guy?
No, I'm not that.
No, you are that
No,
guy.
How the hell do you want me to dress, Jackson?
Pick a side.
No, I'm not a fan of either of those two teams,
You know what?
Jackson.
I'm not either. Just wear neutral black.
If I took you to Athens,
Yes.
would you wear
I wear
something?
black.
I'm going to watch the Georgia Bulldogs earlier in the day, Jackson. I
Doesn't
will die on this hill. No, it does matter. I'll wear
You're
what the hell I want. I bought a $250 ticket that tells me that I can wear what I want, Jackson. How about them apples?
No. It's like Ken Weaver, you're going to the Titans and Jags game.
Yes.
You'll be the guy wearing the Peyton Manning Broncos
I
jersey.
don't root for Peyton Manning or the Broncos.
Or the Eli Manning New York Giants jersey, or the Matt Ryan Falcons jersey.
You know what's getting me so worked up about this? I've had this discussion in my household earlier this week.
And I'm with Miss E.
She wants me to wear Auburn stuff.
You should.
No.
Anything to get rid of those Vanderbilts.
The rule is
That's rough for a Georgia fan to wear Auburn stuff.
the rule is if we go to Auburn and Auburn's playing some other team in Auburn, I'll wear Auburn stuff. If we go to Athens and Georgia's playing she'll wear, but I'm not doing that at an away game. I'll wear neutral colors, but I'm going to be at an event where we're watching the Bulldogs play the lowly Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Auburn's
going to
score, and he's going to start barking at people, Ken.
I just, you know what? You know what set me off? You know what set me off? You know what set me off there just a minute ago?
What's
What?
that?
Jackson going, oh, you're that guy.
You are that guy.
I'm in there and smack you.
Go for it.
Don't call me that guy.
I'm just getting you warmed up for 405.
All right, y'all. 1194 is demanding that we shut the F up and move on. That's which
The fiddlesticks up?
which makes me want to talk about this more.
Yeah, that's like throwing gasoline on a fire with Brother Murphy.
I know. What? It's Friday. We're getting into the show. We got a loaded show. So here's what we got. Just for you, 1194. I was going to talk about this all day, but just for you, I'm going to move the bleep on. Ben Rose is coming up at 3:35 this afternoon. I don't know Ben. We talked earlier today. He is the attorney that represented Robin Smith in their trial and in the case involving, let's see if I say it correctly, Glenn Cassida. Am I saying that right, Ken?
Yes, sir.
Glenn Cassida and Cade Cothran during their trial. So once again, I was not here during all of that breaking out, and I had to catch up on the particulars of that detail. So I believe that I have, to the point that I can converse intelligently about it with you or with Ben Rose. He's going to be with us to talk to us about the pardons of Cassida and Cothran, and whether or not he feels like this should mean a pardon for his client. That's coming up at 3:35. Oddly, the Trump administration pardoned Cassida and Cothran, but they've not pardoned Robin Smith. Now, we could make arguments about whether or not they should be pardoning Cassida and Cothran. And based on my information, based on what I've done, my investigations, I don't believe that there should have been pardons available to these two people. And we have a bad habit collectively, for those of us that support Donald Trump, and I do. I'm an escalator guy. That's what I call people who've been there from the beginning. I'm an escalator guy, okay? And you can chart it back to 2015. I was an escalator guy in the summer of 2015 in Birmingham, Alabama, and have been ever since. But that doesn't mean that you agree with someone 100% of the time. If you agree with me 100% of the time, one of us doesn't need to be here, right? I mean, so I'm going to disagree with Trump on occasion. That doesn't mean that I'm soft on Trump. It means that I'm a human being that thinks for myself, and occasionally, with a guy doing as much as Donald Trump is doing, you're going to find occasion to disagree with him. And I don't like all of these pardons that are coming out of his office right now. I just don't. If you commit a crime and you violate the law, I don't care what political party you're affiliated with, and I don't care what connections you have in Washington, D.C., you ought not to be handed off a pardon. And according to everything that I've been told by people that I trust, Glenn Cassida and Kate Cothran 100% did what they were convicted of doing, and the jury got it right. So why should we be pardoning these people? Now, that aside, even if you agree with the pardons, let's say you do. Let's say, well, Trump did it, so it's all good. Shouldn't Robin Smith have a pardon? She said, hey, I did wrong here. I was a part of this. I'll testify against them. Please give me a lighter sentence if you can. You know, she fell on the sword, so to speak. She said, I'm sorry. I mean, I'm paraphrasing, obviously. I'm sorry. I'll testify. I'll tell you what I know. I'll tell you what I did. Yet she's slated to go to jail in January for 8 months, while the other two guys have been pardoned. That doesn't make a lot of sense. It doesn't make a lot of sense. So we'll discuss that at 3:35 today. At 4 o'clock today, Mayor Freddie O'Connell will be in studio with us. I solicited questions earlier on my X account. That's at Matt Murphy Show, and you're invited to put them out there. At Matt Murphy Show, just tell me what questions you want answered from Freddie O. We only have about 20 minutes with Freddie. We'll get back at about 4:05, 4:06. We'll carry it to about 4:25. He's got to be out of here by 4:30, and we've got a commercial advertisement break to take. So we've got a short amount of time. I would love to have more time. Maybe we can set that up a little bit later on. But this is our allotment of time. So we'll talk about crime in Nashville. We'll talk about property taxes in Nashville. We'll talk about LPRs in Nashville. We'll talk about other things with Freddie O'Connell at 4:05. Do not fear. FriJay is moving to 5:05. An abbreviated FriJay today, 5:05 to 5:30 when we do Nincompoops in the News. So FriJay at that time. And then Sean Farish will be with us at 6 o'clock. I don't know if I'm pronouncing his last name correctly or not. Hey, executive producer of the Matt Murphy Show, Jackson Williams, a.k.a. J. Willie, a.k.a. Y2J.
Hi.
Would you do me a favor and try to find a pronunciation of Sean's name?
I know the man earlier.
I know the man. I've met the man. I love the man. He is an incredible impersonator of Donald Trump, but he's also pretty astute on politics. And I feel like a friend of his, and yet I still can't remember how to pronounce his last name. We've met. We've broken bread. We've had beer together. Anyway, but he's coming up at 6 o'clock today in studio. Patrick. Well, I mean, I get it. Snitches get stitches, right? Not pardons. I suppose that makes a little sense. Snitches get stitches. Rooster says, hell no on the pardons. Oh, is that Rooster that I'm looking at there?
It's Farash.
Farash?
Yep.
Are you sure?
That's what I found on this YouTube video.
Okay. Is he saying it?
Nope.
Somebody else is saying it.
Yes, but I assume they have better researchers than us.
That's a good assumption, Jackson.
It was Fox News.
Okay. Farash.
We're going to trust them there.
Osh. Oshkosh Bagosh, Sean Farash. I just have to figure out a way to remember it. Otherwise, I'll forget it and say something different. One way or the other, we'd love to hear from you. 615-737-9986. It's a First Amendment Freestyle Friday on the Matt Murphy Show, but we are loaded on the show today. So get in here when you can. We appreciate you on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Cover Nash. Shane Ring at Cover Nash has been urging you, imploring you to look into your health insurance and to see if you potentially are paying too much as a result of, of just glossing over it, feeling like you got this and there's nothing else you can do, or feeling like open enrollment is the only time where you can do it. Well, I've got news for you. It's open enrollment season, and Obamacare is at it again, friends. Premiums for 2025 are shooting up. Sometimes, in some cases, even tripling with sky-high deductibles to match. You do not have to put up with this, and you don't have to pay it. Don't play by Washington's rules. Shane Ring at Cover Nash can help you cut your cost by 40 to 60%. Keep any of your doctor or hospital. Your doctor, your hospital, those are yours. You shouldn't move around for the government. Skip the government red tape, as a matter of fact. If you're self-employed, uninsured, or tired of paying too much, make the call that so many others have made to Cover Nash. CoverNash.com, that's CoverNash.com, or 615-465-0023. 465-0023. This is real health coverage on your terms, not on the terms of the government. With Shane Ring and Cover Nash.
And day 38 of the government shutdown, and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer took to the Senate floor today to offer up a Democratic proposal to end it. Details at 3:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. So I listened to that earlier today. I listened to Chuck Schumer on the floor of the United States Senate making his big compromise offer, and I was confused as to what had changed. I suppose they're not demanding some of the clawbacks from the big, beautiful bill that they've been demanding over the past several weeks, but they're still demanding an extension to the government subsidy, the Obamacare subsidy. So we're kicking that can down the road. I don't know. I don't know what the government response or what the presidential response or the Senate response will be. What do you think? I mean, part of me just wants to say, okay, sure, you take the L, we'll take the win, and we'll move on. The other part of me wants to tell them to pound sand. You started this, you can end it. Pass a continuing resolution. We'll negotiate a government subsidy when that comes up at the end of the year or between now and then. Sadly, every solution being offered on the part of government officials regarding health care involves more government or some different kind of government, when the only solution is to blow up the entire system. And nobody wants to do that because it's going to cause people pain. Part of the reason why Obamacare has been so effective for the Democrats is that it has entangled the tentacles of government into the private sector nature of the health insurance industry to the point that you can't untangle it without causing extreme pain. And that was the point. They wanted to entangle the government within these subsidies, entangle the government within your health insurance, entangle the government into the decision-making that you have to make for you and your family regarding health insurance and regarding health care to the point that you cannot unentangle it. And then when it doesn't work, they'll tell you it hasn't worked because of the private sector, not because of the presence of the government. And ultimately, they will convince enough Americans that single payer is the only way to go, which was the goal from the beginning in 2010, 15 years ago. I was here. All of this is costing us a lot. Government involvement in healthcare is only going to create more strain on the industry. And I don't pretend that healthcare insurance is working for people, working for everybody. I'm blessed to have pretty good insurance. I had major surgery this year, and I'm here to tell you I had pretty good insurance. And you try to do the things on the front end to make sure that you are taken care of on the back end. And I'm pleased to tell you, I was telling you this the other day, Jackson, that with health insurance, obviously, my dog clearly does not have health insurance, but my shoulder replacement surgery cost less money out of my pocket than my dog's cancer surgery. That is the truth. And it wasn't close. It was like $4,300 to $7,500 all in. In the meantime, Jackson, I see your wheels are turning in there. Have you ever met the mayor, Jackson?
Yeah, when he was campaigning, you brought him.
Okay.
For some reason, brought him to meet me when I was still over on the sports station.
Well, you looked like a liberal at the time. I figured he would want to meet a fellow Libby. You got any questions for Mayor O'Connell? I feel like maybe we should offer you an opportunity to ask a few questions. Got any thoughts on questions?
When are we getting a Subway?
A Subway?
Yes.
Like a sandwich shop?
No.
Like a subway train system?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. That would be your question for the mayor? Maybe keep thinking on it. Just brainstorm some questions for the mayor, Jackson.
Can we get a basketball team?
Okay. All right. No.
Can we get the Grizzlies?
No. You can have a WNBA team, apparently.
We didn't get that either.
You're not going to get a basketball team, Jackson.
What about baseball?
Maybe a baseball team. Maybe later. We can ask him about that. Maybe that's why they bought the scrapyard, to build a little stadium down there. Although, nothing wrong with the current. Well, the First Horizon is not big enough to host a major league team. So you'd need a new stadium. So maybe that's why they bought the thing.
Can I have some scrap from the scrapyard?
Is that a question for the mayor?
Yes.
All right, just write them down, Jackson. Write them down, and I'll tell you which ones you're allowed to ask. So that's it?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay. Caleb is next up. Caleb, I got to go quick because Ken Weaver's chomping at the bit to do the news. What's on your mind? Hey, Caleb.
Guys, hey, just wanted to get a little quick thing in on the cast of the pardons and everything and just how the system is broken. Like, I love Donald Trump, and I've voted for him every time, but I'm not going to just say just because he says it's good. It's good. If you do something and are committed of that crime, then you should serve the time that you've been committed to. And that's it. I mean, like, after you've done some time, then maybe a pardon. But my wife is in the process of getting her pardon right now, and it's not easy. And I mean, it's been 12 years since her felony, and it's she's someone who deserves one. She did her time, she went through everything, and now she's trying to get into college somewhere. So it's just a broken system.
Well, no, I agree with you, and we'll be talking with Ben Rose about this in just a moment. We look forward to that conversation because I just don't understand why I don't understand what's going on, and I don't understand why. I don't understand. It is frustrating to me as someone who believes in the rule of law when individuals of political prominence clearly violate the rule of law when they're given some sort of free pass by the president of the United States. I've got to call that out too. This is not a deal breaker for me and Donald Trump. I'm just trying to understand why. I'm trying to understand who got to him and for what reason and how he was convinced that this was the right thing to do. It is 3:31 on Super Talk.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories, and pretty much all of Middle Tennessee, except for Clarksville, is under a tornado watch now until 10 o'clock. We've got severe storms right now in the neighborhood. In fact, this is going to be just west of Nashville. You got a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for northwest Dixon, Houston, and northeastern Humphreys counties. This is going to be until 3:45 right now. This storm is capable of 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail. It is moving to the east rapidly at 50 miles per hour. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. It's day 38 of the government shutdown. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer on the Senate floor today offered a proposal.
Democrats are ready to clear the way to quickly pass a government funding bill that includes health care affordability. Leader Thune just needs to add a clean one-year extension of the ACA tax credits to the CR so that we can immediately address rising health care costs.
So the Senate has voted and rejected a bill to fund the government but not extend the Affordable Care Act credits for a year. Metro Public Health confirming a measles case in Nashville, the first since 2005. The patient was unvaccinated, recently traveled, prompting officials to begin contact tracing. Health leaders urging residents to check their MMR vaccination status and get immunized if needed. Shots are available at public health clinics to help stop the spread of this highly contagious disease. And Metro Police say officers had no choice but to shoot a man early this morning at the Greyhound bus station downtown. Officers say they responded to a suicidal call when the man reached into a backpack.
The officers were forced to fire upon him out of concern for their own safety. The man was taken to Vanderbilt University Medical Center where he has been pronounced dead.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Franklin, TDOT says a crash is blocking the left two lanes 65 southbound near Paytonsville Road. In Madison, a crash blocking the left two lanes 65 northbound near the Due West Avenue overpass. Rivergate, a crash blocking the right two lanes 65 northbound approaching Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. And then Glencliff, a crash blocking the right two lanes 24 westbound at Briley Parkway. That's going to be south. Smyrna, a stalled vehicle on the left shoulder, 24 eastbound near Sam Ridley. Also, look for 24 eastbound near Almaville Road, a stalled vehicle. And then a more than 2-hour delay, 40 westbound due to bridge work at exit 143. That's 40 westbound. The right lane is blocked. You only have the left lane open. That's a 10-mile backup. I'm Ken Weaver.
Jackson, you ever been to Pancake Pantry?
I have.
We need to go. I'll buy you some pancakes at Pancake Pantry next time, okay?
Okay.
Me and you, we're going because Pancake Pantry, an iconic restaurant staple in Nashville, is now showing gratitude this Veterans Day by offering meals to active and retired military on November 11th. It's pretty cool. The special offer is available at both the Hillsborough Village location and the downtown restaurant located at 220 Molly. The complimentary meal features guest's choice of any entree listed on the menu. A valid military ID is required to participate in the Veterans Day promotion. Pancake Pantry is an iconic restaurant, friends. Founded in 1961, it is a Nashville tradition known for its 23 varieties of scratch-made pancakes. You know, I'm a noted I shun pancakes, but not at the Pancake Pantry because they just make them different. They offer the best food and the friendliest service from their two Nashville locations, the original in Hillsborough Village, and, of course, the downtown location, 3rd and Molly, or Malloy. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. Batters and syrups created from secret recipes are made fresh daily. Perennial favorite on the Nashville scene's Best of Nashville and Tennessee's Best of Music City lists. The Pancake Pantry, go to thepancakepantry.com, thepancakepantry.com. I would recommend their omelets. Incredible omelets. And don't forget, November 11th, active and retired military, you eat free. Thank you to the Pancake Pantry. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN, a fast-paced Friday edition of the Matt Murphy Show. It is episode 920 of our visits together. 920 of them, and they said it wouldn't last. You can find us on Spotify, TuneIn, iHeart. We have our own app, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Type that into your app store. You can find us that way. And we're also on Talk TV, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Rumble. If you are watching on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, or Rumble, you perhaps watched me flip Jackson off right before the end of that segment. That happened. It is true. It was all. Are you okay?
I'm triggered.
It was all in good fun there, young Jackson. In my defense, Jackson was saying things in my ear that I didn't appreciate, and I didn't know that I was on camera. That's my defense. That's it. That's all I got. You know, I need a good lawyer. And where's Jay St. Clair when you need him? Maybe I could ask Ben Rose to represent me in this lawsuit against you, Jackson. Ben Rose is he's with the Ben Rose Law Firm, or Rose Firm, PLLC, and he represented former Representative Robin Smith in the case involving Glenn Cassida and Cade Cothran, and he joins us now to talk about the latest developments, including the pardons. Ben, it's good to have you on the air, and it was good to talk to you earlier today. I hope you're well, sir.
Good afternoon, Matt. Thanks for having me on. Although I told Jackson just a moment ago, I didn't realize you were a Georgia Bulldogs fan, so I might have to reconsider.
Well, you can file a cease and desist. My buddy Jay St. Clair, who's on Fridays with me, Ben, we always laugh because lawyers are paid by the word. And last I checked, cease and desist mean the same thing, but you never get a cease letter or a desist letter. You just get a cease and desist, right?
It just doesn't sound the same without all those words. That's for sure.
That's
for sure.
That's right.
Well, we can change you. Don't worry.
Well, you know what? You know what? Many have tried, but I love being in the state of Tennessee, and I've loved my 4 years here. Ben, I came in just a little after all of the details about this case happened. Obviously, I was here for the trial itself that led to the convictions of Cassida and Cothran, in no small measure because of the testimony of your client, Robin Smith. For those perhaps that are unfamiliar with the case, can you give us kind of a synopsis of what the accusations were and what was presented at trial that led to the convictions of these two?
I can try. It was 4 weeks of trial testimony and then deliberation. But basically, and just so we're clear, I guess I wouldn't be a good lawyer if I didn't clarify my role. I'm the pardon attorney for Robin Smith, and I was there throughout the entire trial and advised. Actually been with her since the raids on January the 8th, 2021, incredibly, if you can believe how long it's been. But basically, the trial was about what's called honest services. There were some other counts that were in there. But it's this concept in federal criminal law that you can't receive a benefit that you're not eligible for. And so basically the government put on a case that the defendants were part of this Phoenix Solutions without disclosing to legislators exactly who was behind Phoenix Solutions, because the legislators, if they had known it was Cade and Glenn, they wouldn't have done business with that entity. And then they received state money. And that's basically the gist of an honest services claim.
So the jury in this case concluded that the two individuals were guilty of the charges against them, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. And your client, Robin Smith, who is a former representative, she, for lack of a better way of saying it, she, was begging for mercy with the court and admitted her wrongdoing. And if I say anything out of bounds here, let me know, Ben. But she admitted wrongdoing in the case. She pled guilty, and she is set to serve time starting in January. Am I right?
That's correct. So soon after the raids back in 2021, she went to the government. She essentially admitted her mistake, cooperated with the government, entered into a plea deal for one count of honest services fraud, and then eventually testified. I mean, it's been years, 3.5 years, that she's been waiting after pleading guilty to that one count. Testified for 3 days in front of a jury. There's no doubt in my mind, having been there every day, that her testimony was crucial. She was the star witness for the government. And she connected, if you can imagine, you've got a conspiracy among politicians. And for a lay jury, meaning regular people, it's real important to have someone explain, as part of the conspiracy, which she was, exactly how it worked and how to connect lies with crimes, because that's not, like I said, in an honest services case, that's not always easy to do. So I think her testimony and involvement was crucial. After the sentences of the other defendants, she was then sentenced. We asked for probation, and ultimately she was sentenced to 8 months in federal prison to report early next year. That's correct.
Ben Rose is our guest. He is an attorney representing Robin Smith. I guess the easy question here, Ben, is that what was your reaction to hearing the news yesterday, and have you talked to Robin, and if so, what was her reaction?
Well, I'll share what my reaction is just as counsel, because I think that's important, given that she's not here. And it's going to sound kind of curious. I was pleased, and certainly I'm pleased more now than I was about this time yesterday afternoon before the news. And the reason is because I feel like that if the other defendants were pardoned, I think that only increases Robin's case for a pardon. And if you kind of think about it, she's got a much stronger case or argument to make to the president to be pardoned, given that she admitted her mistake, she cooperated with the government, did everything that she was asked to do, but still received we think a punitive sentence in the term of 8 months. And everybody really should want that, not just Robin Smith, because we want cooperators to come to the government, admit that they're wrong, and then help prosecute the real defendants that are guilty. And that's what she did. And I think, we're past the stage now for sentencing, and the only available remedy to her is a presidential pardon, and I think she's entitled to one.
No, I think I hear what you're saying, and as a voice for your client, you feel like this gets your client closer to what you feel like your client deserves, and that is not serving any jail time based on her willingness to work with the government, work with the prosecution within the case. Am I hearing you correctly?
Absolutely. And the public should be interested in that. I mean, everybody ought to agree that we need to have people come forward, admit their mistakes, they can be forgiven, and I won't say rewarded, but I think you get a just punishment for that, which we thought was probation.
Did the pardons that came down yesterday surprise you, Ben?
No.
I mean, is there any insight? Do you have any insight? And I might be asking the wrong guy as to what the work going on behind the scenes looked like, because I don't feel like Donald Trump wakes up one morning and as president of the United States of America decides to start looking around the country to see who he needs to pardon that day, right? These things are brought to him. Do you have any idea how that works?
I don't really, because I think it's unique for everybody, and I certainly don't know about the other folks because I only represent Robin Smith as pardon counsel. But I do think it fits into this narrative of, I saw some of the comments from the administration that said this was an over-prosecution, and I'll leave that for others to discuss whether it is as it relates to the other defendants. But certainly for Robin Smith, I think 5 years of this where she pled guilty, did everything she was asked to do. Well, I'll just say this. I haven't met a single person through this entire process that thinks that she should go to jail for what she did after she admitted her mistake and then came clean and cooperated with the government, provided her testimony. So I think that's where this perhaps is coming from, that this is a corrective that we don't want. If we want to prosecute election crimes or political corruption, we want to prosecute things that are substantive, and we all know what those are, right? Because we've experienced those, unfortunately, in the legislature, folks that have lived here for some time. So I think that's where that's coming from, and that I guess that would be my reaction.
Well, and so what does this? I mean, how does this change what you're doing, and what is your game plan moving forward to represent Robin?
Well, our game plan is, number one, I think, I want to be sure that because they were all together in the conspiracy, I've had some people think that she was pardoned yesterday too. And we want to make sure and get the message out that, no, she's still due to report to prison in January to serve those 8 months. And we want to get the word out that, she feels like she was targeted politically, but I think her best case, her best argument is we don't want this to happen to cooperators. And when you do the right thing, after you make a mistake, we're not saying that she didn't, but when you do the right thing, you need to be able to go forward and make it right with your God and your country and make things better. And that's what she's trying to do.
Well, and as you and I spoke to earlier today, it's not for you to decide, and I don't think you consider it your role. I don't speak for you, but your role is to achieve your goals for your client. We on talk radio and in other circles can determine, whether or not it was the right thing to do to pardon these other two. But it certainly seems odd for me to talk about the pardon that happened with the other two, but the person that admitted wrongdoing, admitted guilt, fell on the sword, said, I did wrong, I'll work with you, I want to make it right, that person still faces jail time. That just seems very odd.
Well, it's unjust, is what we've said, and it's something that can be corrected by pardon. Remember, a presidential pardon, it's in the Constitution. A president can pardon someone for a good reason, for a bad reason, or for no reason. And we think in all those instances, in terms of presidential power, that this is an injustice that can be fixed by presidential pardon, and that's what we're calling for.
Ben, I appreciate your robust defense of your client and your efforts to do what you're trying to accomplish, which is, my perception of it is to just get a fair judgment, at least from the ultimate authority, and that would be Donald Trump in this case. Best of luck, and let us know if there's anything that we can do or any information we need to get out to the public. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Matt, and get over that Georgia thing, will you?
Go Vols, sir.
Hey, Ben, before you go, are you a Vols guy? Ben's a lawyer. A lot of those guys are Vandy guys, Jackson.
No, I'm from East Tennessee originally, and absolutely, we had orange and white pounded into us from the very beginning.
There you go.
And if you've got a second, my papaw was the longest contiguous ticket taker at Neyland Stadium from the 50s into the 2000s. So I got that in my blood.
Oh, yeah, Jackson, you're talking to Vol royalty here, Neyland royalty. You didn't know that, did you, buddy?
Did not know that.
Well, Ben, good to talk with you. Good to meet you via the telephone, and we'll do it again soon. Take care.
Thanks, Matt. Thanks,
all right,
guys. Have a great weekend.
All right, you do as well. It's 53 after the hour. Oh, come on. Look, a lot of you, you're not doing that spooky version anymore?
No, it's not Halloween.
Oh. That one didn't go so well.
It's just once a year. It doesn't matter how it goes.
Oh, okay. Got it. So I get where you're at, and I'm not saying I'm not there either. I don't understand why Cassida or Cothran were pardoned. And on first blush, unless there's something that I'm missing, they should not have been pardoned. How about that? But if they are going to be pardoned, it makes no sense that the woman that turned state's evidence, that testified against them, that admitted wrongdoing, that fell on the sword, would serve jail time, and these guys aren't. Makes zero sense. Now, in a perfect world, in Murphy world, all three of them would need to go to jail and serve their time. But that's not the world we're living in. Thank you to the President of the United States. We've got Mayor Freddie O'Connell coming up in just a moment. It's 54 after the hour. You're listening to Super Talk 99.7 WTN. There are 3 locations to serve you when it comes to men's health, particularly men's sexual health at Tennessee Men's Clinic. One is in Cool Springs. That's been open for a couple of years. The OG, the original location, 14 years, 15 years, I guess now. It has been around. Oh, no, I guess not quite that long. 2014 is what I was trying to say. Evan Bass opened up the shop in Midtown Nashville, and now they have a new location in Clarksville. These locations are around you. They're there to serve you, and they want to do exactly that. Friends, I encourage you to contact the Tennessee Men's Clinic. If you're having any trouble in the bedroom, if you have the want to but don't have the can do, they can get that solved for you at the Tennessee Men's Clinic. For $99, you'll get your first appointment, a comprehensive examination, a little blood work taken. They'll check that blood work out, see what's going on with your T levels and other aspects of your men's health. And then they, if medically advised, they'll offer you a first treatment right there on the first day. How about that? Let's get this problem solved, men. Let's get back in the game with the Tennessee Men's Clinic. Go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, TennesseeMen'sClinic.com, or call 615-208-9090, 208-9090.
Four o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Everyone in Middle Tennessee, except Clarksville, is under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. Now, we've got severe storms in the neighborhood right now. In fact, 3 counties under severe thunderstorm warning until 4:30, Dixon, Williamson, and Cheatham County. This severe storm moving 50 miles per hour to the east, 60 mile per hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail are possible. Again, it's in the tornado watch area. And there is a level 2 out of 5 risk for severe weather all across Middle Tennessee, and we're getting it right now. We cannot rule out the possibility of pop-up tornadoes, but right now just a severe thunderstorm warning for Williamson, Cheatham, and Dixon County. Again, that tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. Full forecast, traffic update in 5 minutes. Senate Democratic leader Chuck Schumer's offered a compromise to end the government shutdown. He says Democrats would agree to vote to reopen the government if Republicans agree to a 1-year extension of expiring Obamacare tax credits. ABC's Jay O'Brien has more from Capitol Hill.
It is a walk back of what they had initially demanded. They wanted a full permanent extension of these Obamacare tax credits that, if they're not extended, will cause premiums for some 20 million Americans who get their insurance through Obamacare marketplaces to skyrocket. Democrats wanted the tax credits to be permanent. What Chuck Schumer is now offering Republicans today is just a 1-year extension of those tax credits.
Now, here in Nashville, Metro Public Health confirms Nashville's first measles case since 2005. Officials say the patient was unvaccinated and had recently traveled. Health teams are tracing contacts and urging anyone without the MMR vaccine to get immunized at local clinics. 2 Metro Nashville police officers shot and killed a man outside the Greyhound bus station downtown this morning. Police spokesman Don Aaron says the man claimed to be suicidal, then reached into his backpack. Police fired on him, he said, out of concern for their safety.
The man was taken to Vanderbilt University Medical Center, where he has been pronounced dead. The footage, the body-worn camera footage, will be released later today.
TBI has taken over that investigation. Election 2025, the Democratic Party making a push in the long Republican-dominated 7th Congressional District of Tennessee. Democratic National Committee Chair Ken Martin's going to campaign for Afton Bain in the special election to fill the seat Mark Green retired from. Martin will join Bain for a Nashville canvassing event tomorrow, as Democrats hope enthusiasm can narrow the gap with Republican Matt Van Epps, who has President Trump's backing and a lead in early polls. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Madison got a crash blocking the left 2 lanes, 65 northbound near the Due West Avenue overpass. 2 separate crashes now, Cedar Hill, 24 north. This is going to be westbound between Maxey Road and the Sango Road overpass. And then in Humphreys County, west of Nashville, you've got a 3-hour delay due to bridge work, having 40 westbound down to 1 lane right there at exit 143. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. My name is Matt Murphy. This is the Matt Murphy Radio Show. I told you it'd be a fast-paced show today. We've got FriJay with our legal man, Jay St. Clair, coming up next hour. Normally, that would be here. Sean Farash will be with us in the 6 o'clock hour. He's a great guy, funny guy. We just had Ben Rose on talking about these presidential pardons and the oddity that, regardless of the debate as to whether the pardons should have happened or not, set that aside, the oddity that Cassida and Cothran were pardoned, but Robin Smith, who did the right thing and admitted guilt and testified, did not. So we'll try to figure out where that is coming up a little bit later on in the show. But right now, we focus our attention on Davidson County and all things Nashville with our next guest. He is Mayor Freddie O'Connell. He joins us from time to time to update us on the state of the city through his lens in the mayor's office, and it's always good to have him in studio. Freddie, good afternoon.
Matt, thanks for having us. Happy Friday.
Good Friday to you. I'm assuming that you're all in on Vanderbilt tomorrow, right?
I am definitely
we were just
all
talking
in
about
on Vanderbilt tomorrow. Yeah, anchor down.
Yeah. No, it's good stuff. So let's. I know we've got a limited amount of time. I know you got to get out of here at 4:30. So I got to rapid fire you. First off, kudos to the crime numbers.
We are moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
Right? We don't, even on progress, we don't settle for, hey, this is good enough. We're still making progress, but the trajectory we're on, where crime is down in all categories, where we are, on this pace, we will hit a 60-year low in homicide rate, 40% low in overall violent crime. That's exactly the kind of stuff we want to see. You're probably aware we just opened our 9th precinct in the city with MMPD out in southeast Nashville. Quickly growing area has demanded more presence for most of the time that I was on the Metro Council, and Taneka Vircher was there, who was a longtime champion on Metro Council. She saw me today and she said, I asked you for one thing, you did it. You don't owe me anything else, right? And so it was really good to be out there with MMPD. We've sworn in 250 new officers since I took office, just had another couple dozen out at the academy this week. So we're making a lot of headway.
How short are we?
It just sort of depends on what that means. We closed the vacancy rate to double digits just before this budget, but then we expanded the sworn officer headcount by another 60 or so officers as we came into this year. So it was sort of like we were making headway up against that old target, approaching full staffing, and then kind of moved our own goalposts because Chief Drake was correct. We needed more officers because we had a new precinct. We had more school resource officers to cover. We have a transit security division we're working on. So we have a lot of initiatives out there, a new citywide flex unit. So we had to increase that headcount, and so now you have to run some more classes through the academy to get out there.
For those parents in Davidson County sending their kids to the Metro Nashville public school system, several years ago we were told that, while there was a desire to bring SROs into all school systems, to all the schools, middle school, elementary schools, that there just weren't the officers to be able to accomplish that. Are we there yet?
We're very close. This budget allows us to expand that. There's 3 different things happening. Some of it is kind of that technology expansion that we've seen. That very glad to see the collaboration between Chief Drake and the Metro Nashville Police Department and Dr. Battle, Director of Schools. They agreed that having sort of new technology detection systems is good. We've rolled out Evolve, which if you've gone to a Preds game, a Nashville SC game, you're going to know what those systems are. That's been effective already this academic year. We are expanding school resource officers. We also have this program of safety ambassadors, people who are on school around campus that are really there for de-escalation scenarios and may not be there to cause an arrest, but may actually be there to prevent anything that could arise to that occasion.
So, and you touched on it in your original answer that, while the progress that we're pointed in the right direction, obviously 2024, I saw some of the statistics, and I think Nashville's 13th nationally, FBI statistics. That's too high. I know that you're not comfortable with that. No one's comfortable with that. We go in the right direction. If you had the opportunity to engage with the state in any sort of collaborative way in, a similar fashion to the way that the Memphis folks are doing, that seems to be wildly successful in Memphis. I'm not comparing the two cities. I think it would be unfair to Nashville to do so because I don't think Nashville is anywhere approaching what Memphis is having to deal with in terms of their crime levels. However, if you had that opportunity, is that something that you would do?
So I'll say it this way. I definitely look to, in the same way that I was looking to make sure that we had alignment between Chief Drake and Dr. Battle on the approach we took to safety in schools. We look at that from a partnership level all the time. I mean, Chief Drake will tell you, we use state and federal partnerships all the time. You probably saw the U.S. Attorney announcement yesterday, big MS-13 bust. I mean, MNPD is working with state and federal partners regularly to go after the worst of the worst guys, and those frequently result in not just effective arrests, but effective prosecutions on the basis of effective investigations. We have not had Chief Drake approach us and say, we need something else that is not available locally. So we are continuing to work with them. We've actually been able to optimize resources. I mean, between improvements we've made at the Department of Emergency Communications, some alternative policing approaches that allow when somebody is experiencing a mental health crisis, somebody to go there, and so officers can stay focused on crime, not crisis. We've improved response times by 10 minutes over the past year. And so, again, we're moving in the right direction. If the state approached us and said, hey, here's this opportunity, if Chief Drake said this looks like something we might be interested in, we would consider it. But I think right now, I'll say it this way. As we engage with state on executive branch, legislative branch, they saw a real problem in Memphis. They have not come to us and said, we see a real problem in Nashville.
Mayor Freddie O'Connell is our guest. And by the way, I've mentioned on several occasions, and I want to tell you publicly, I appreciate your willingness to sit down with me and talk about the issues that matter to Davidson County and Nashville off air. We had a good, 3-hour conversation off air last time we talked. And I do appreciate that. And I think it's the definition of two people who can enjoy a beer together, sit down, hash things out, agree on some things, disagree on other things, and still remain friendly and focused on moving the city in the proper direction. All that to say, let's talk about property taxes, right? So you campaigned on making the city more affordable. Your first 2 years in office, I hear you talk a lot about making the city more affordable. I can give you a laundry list of people that tell me that in the first 2 years, we have not accomplished that goal and the city is not more affordable, particularly when it comes to taxation. What do you say to the people that write me regularly? I'm sure that they write you. I'm sure that they contact you and tell you, you have charged me out of the city. I can't afford to be in the city anymore. I know that you think about that. What do you say to them?
We do think about that a lot. It's totally dependent on your context. If you are a small business paying a commercial tax rate, if you are a residential property owner who is owner occupied in your residence, this is the hard part about it. And it's the hardest part, I think, to understand about how we operate cities from the standpoint of knowing what it costs to have a great police department full of professionals, to have a school system where we're seeing unprecedented student performance, right? We have a certain level of service expectation. We try to know where that line is at all times to understand what Nashvillians want. The reality is today, if you are paying higher property taxes, it is because your value of your property sharply increased. And so That's one of the hardest parts. If you have been in your home for decades, the state does not give us the opportunity to say, you've been in your home a long time here, like you get to freeze your property taxes. Now, what it does let us do is if you are of a certain age and on a fixed income, if you're a disabled veteran, we do have some tools for relief there. But, our neighborhood, for instance, spiked in value 5 years ago. And so we saw my property taxes went up noticeably back then, 4 years ago, before I was ever mayor. This year, it's pretty flat. And so we knew that our value had kind of increased previously. There are other parts of the city.
Is that a bad look when the mayor's property tax hasn't gone up and many city residents' property taxes are going up? It feels like exponentially.
I'd say it's a neutral look. It's to say that values change at different rates in different part of the city. And that's the, there's this unusual interplay between having an independently elected property assessor. Her office goes out and does the job of assigning values, and we look at it and completely independently of that say, here is the total expected revenue needs for the city based on, what we hear from departments, what we hear from community members, what we hear from Metro Council. And so we have systematically been moving Metro's property tax rate down. We currently have the lowest property tax rate in the history of Metro.
Yet the people in Davidson County are paying higher property taxes than any other county in the state of Tennessee. I mean, that is a fact.
Are you talking about...
And dollar for dollar. I mean, I understand how you play with the numbers and the rates, right? But dollar for dollar, people's taxes went up. I'm paying more this year than I paid last year. I don't care what the rate is.
Yeah, but 4 years ago, you may not have. This year, you may because your property went up. I don't know what it means to say Nashvillians are paying higher property taxes than anywhere else in the state.
Well, because they are. I mean, it is what it is.
Are you saying
they're
on an average basis?
They're cutting a check annually for more money than any other county in the state of Tennessee.
I would be interested to see your math on that.
Well, and I'm happy to show it. So we had the transit tax, which passed, vote of the people. We had the property taxes. Now I hear from a Metro councilor, and I'm curious your thoughts. And obviously, you don't speak for the Metro Council. They don't speak for you. You are mayor. But we hear from a Metro councilor that are now talking about impact fees. Can you help us understand what impact fees are and what your position is on them?
Yeah, I mean, I know this from being on the Metro Council, too. Metro Council members run non-binding resolutions all the time, which may be somebody's free idea that they just put out there. It isn't going to have... that's not actually an ordinance. That doesn't have an impact. That's basically requesting that the state General Assembly offer us the opportunity to look at impact fees.
I heard that one of the members of leadership in the House is willing to run it. That's what I heard.
I would be interested in that. I mean, some counties have them. You've maybe heard already of the County Powers Act. It offers some counties. And there are two schools of thought on this. One of this is impact fees give more predictability. The other is having flexibility lets you have more context-appropriate discussions about infrastructure. We're kind of stuck in this space of we can't offer predictability because we don't have impact fees available. And when we have these scenarios where you're doing a big development and we say, hey, would you mind covering sidewalks? We've had some people engage in litigation about that. So we're kind of getting pinched on, again, that idea of our growth covering our full costs. It's not right now. I would be very interested to see if the state legislature did file something. We'd want to make sure it made sense in Nashville. I haven't seen any draft legislation or anything.
I feel like when we have these good conversations, it's like a city council meeting. We have old business and new business, and so I want to go over some old business with you, Freddie.
The old business part of the agenda.
And you could probably guess what some of the old business items are. LPRs. Any movement on that?
No active movement on that. We know there's still interest. We know that some there. Again, this is a place where there are two factions of the Metro Council. We have seen some council members express strong support. We have seen some express strong opposition. Neither coalition seems to be moving the other right now. We have a framework ready to go. We are continuing to talk with council members and community members with differing perspectives here. I know this is still a priority of Chief Drake, and we are looking for an opportunity to find the right balance here of, is there a pathway to keeping concerns low in a community that is seeing trust pressures that you and I have talked about the sudden an unexpected emergence of ice and the impact on the community there from a safety standpoint. And then knowing that we've had this be a departmental priority, that we continue to talk to counties around Nashville about this. So we're looking for that opportunity to make this a successful project for Nashville.
So for those that maybe haven't kept up with the storyline, the council passed an approval for LPRs. There was a test study that went down. They passed overall approval, but we're waiting on contracts to be presented before the council. But that's your office that would present them. But it's your position that if, correct me if I'm wrong, that if you presented the contracts now,
would not get approved.
It would not get approved.
And you saw probably, you again, on an old business basis, you'll probably remember about this time last year, in fact, at the council meeting right after the election, we thought we had a pathway to get approval for Fusus and came up one vote short. And I don't think the atmosphere in the chamber has changed much since then.
You and I spoke during that beer summit, if you will, about affordable housing in Nashville. And the tax issue is one conversation to have about affordability regarding that. But then there's another conversation to have about, how you push affordable housing within the city. And, I'm loath to get the government involved in some of those free markets. But, obviously you have involvement. And I don't pretend to understand exactly what was going down in the nations. But it felt like there was a push to get more high-density residential property in a community that didn't really want more high-density residential property. Am I reading this right?
Well, I'd say there's two pieces of what you just said that it gets a little more complicated. Anytime you create, I guess I'd say it this way. Anytime you change somebody's entitlements, right, the things that you're allowed to do by right with land that you own, it's not like any zoning bill that ever passes the Metro Council suddenly causes demolition or new construction, right? And so what happened is on more parcels than you usually see, not attached to any specific development in the nations, the district council member out there did, and I would say it's not clear to me just from the people that I've talked to, because I was out there at Light the Nations, a great community festival that they do out there annually, and I heard from people, neighborhood leaders that were like, we think the council member did a good job of engagement. We're supportive of this. And of course, I heard from some other people who said, this isn't right for this neighborhood. But the end of the day is, it's not like somebody's going through the nations next week with bulldozers and whatever else. It doesn't change the character of it today, tomorrow, next week, next month. Maybe by next year you would see a property that had, instead of a single family home on it, something different. But I worked through this when I was on Metro Council for 8 years, and my colleague Colby Sledge in District 17 did something very similar for kind of Chestnut Hill and Wedgwood, Houston. And I think a lot of it has to do with how far out ahead do you get of community support? Can you bring people with you? Do you run it on a pace that people are comfortable with or that you're comfortable with? And clearly you've seen some blowback from that in the nations. But we track that stuff, but that's also council member by council member. I think it's up to each of them to exercise their judgment over where their respective communities are and if they're getting the policies right to fit them. But, I'll just say, zoning stirs up a lot of passions. Zoning itself is not a redevelopment proposal.
Well, then what is the proposal? What is the mayor's office position on how to bring more affordability to Nashville?
We're anchored around the unified housing strategy, which is mostly a mix of approaches. With housing, generally speaking, you've got sort of three big levers you can pull to try to get to affordability in that space. You've got supply, meaning do you have land, funding, all those things to get there. You have subsidy, which may mean if the market isn't going to, generally speaking, offer very low income housing for people with very low incomes, you may need to subsidize some of it to create long-term affordability. And then there's the support element, which means it isn't just the cost of construction. It may mean if you're trying to maintain mixed income communities where people of all different ages, incomes, and abilities might be able to live in the same neighborhood together, that all three of those elements may come into play. From our standpoint, and I say this from fully seeing this play out for 8 years, mayor's offices have historically almost never gotten involved in zoning. We're not trying to engage in a land use conversation. We do think that is appropriately the position of the Metro Council, but we are looking at every place we can follow through on the unified housing strategy on those other metrics. And so in year one, we do have some rehabilitation funding in there to try to help people stay in their homes. We just made an announcement this week with a new initiative that connects people who are going through environmental court who may have property standards violations on their properties to get referred to Rebuilding Together Nashville so they can resolve those property standards issues and not get cited or be at increased risk of losing their property or being displaced from their home. Those kinds of initiatives are very important. We have the Barnes Housing Trust Fund, which we have funded yet another year of $17 million. We have a Catalyst Fund out there, and we're trying to accelerate delivery of very low-income housing through initiatives like permanent supportive housing. So that's our approach.
So you mentioned Colby Sledge in District 17, Wedgwood, Houston, and that's obviously, the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. Offer still on the table. This is on the category of old business as well. Everything that I'm hearing in the rumor mill is that John Ingram has $2 million that he's willing to spend on affordable housing, and he's holding that money up to make sure that the Bristol Motor Speedway deal doesn't go through. Have you heard that rumor? If so, is there any truth to the rumor?
I've heard the rumor. I've not had that conversation with John. So, have
you had any conversation with John?
I've had multiple conversations with John. It is clear he remains very skeptical of, any increased use of the Speedway, including NASCAR.
And he was at one time publicly in favor of the Speedway remaining on the property.
At least publicly tolerant, but I don't know if that's the same as in favor, but yeah.
And where are we? It felt like we had a community meeting. I went to the meeting. It was at Geodis Park. I heard the arguments. And since then, it doesn't feel like we've made any progress forward with the deal with Bristol.
Yeah, we're continuing to have conversations. We continue to talk to the team. We continue to talk to Bristol. We're very likely to start to engage the community, particularly around the fairgrounds, at some point in the near future, because this is something I don't want to leave lingering. The longer we go with no certainty around that, the more at risk we put the facilities.
Are you going to have to punt it back to the Fair Board before it gets to the council? Because I think the Fair Board a couple of years ago approved it, right?
I think that if we brought terms of a different deal, we would have to go back. My suspicion is on process. If we got to something we thought we could take to Metro Council before we got there, we're probably going to have to go to all of the Fair Board, the Planning Commission, and the Sports Authority.
Mayor Freddie O'Connell's with us. We've got, and pardon me, Ken, I know we're running long and I'm screwing your schedule up. Ken just gave me the wave.
Don't mess up your advertising.
No. We're all good. We're good on that front. This is a compelling and good conversation to have regarding all of these things, all of these aspects of the city. What are you happiest about in your first 2 years?
Happiest that we've seen a full year of progress with Choose How You Move, that we have expanded transit service, that we've got sidewalks in design, and I think we'll have some in construction before the end of the year, that we've got 100 new traffic signals now funded, and they will begin construction in the very near future, too. They're going to be fully upgraded. You're going to see some improvements over the next few months on Lebanon Pike with new signals. We've got we just celebrated a new transit enhancement out on Murfreesboro Pike. We've got people in this period of tough moment where Nashville is not unique in responding to people losing SNAP benefits all of a sudden, that we've got a new low-income fare program that is helping people get access to food. So I think that overall program of Choose How You Move that was voter supported and voter approved is out there in the world working. I think that's in some ways the biggest deal. Otherwise, in a growing city, Matt, we talked about it at the top of the show. It's very important that as the city continues to grow, we are moving both our public safety numbers in the right direction, that we are making the city safer every day. And that is not just the goal, but we've invested in that. And that also we are seeing historic improvements in schools, from historically high graduation rates to 4 years of consecutive growth at the highest level of state, and students performing better than they ever have on state-based metrics. And so,
what are you most disappointed about?
I think the hardest parts of this are those elements where it's variables kind of above our pay grade, where we think we're in a good position on one thing on a state level, and then maybe something gets disrupted on that basis. Or just right now, it is very challenging to have our staff had to kind of scramble the jets with Metro partners, others, to deal with the SNAP crisis to make sure people just can put food on the table.
You know, it's a smaller issue because I think it will impact fewer people in Nashville. But the issue of the tunnel, the Music City Loop, the Elon thing, it felt like it got political for no reason. And at least I felt that way. And then out of your office, and look, I'm just telling you the perception. You said you had not talked to anybody, but then we find out that people in your office had talked to people, and it felt like you were kind of playing funny with the language because your office talked too boring, didn't they?
We got invited to a meeting at the state, and Boring was there, and a year went by, and I mean, we talk to people all the time, but at the end of the day, it's not like they came in and made a big proposal to our office. And then
is this not a thing that the city could work with them? I mean, you know,
we are working with them.
And so you feel comfortable working with them as long as I know that you're concerned about environmental checkpoints and all these types of things. Obviously, you should be.
We have our Office of Emergency Management and our Director of Performance Management are working side by side to make sure that if this project goes forward, like any project in the city goes forward, that you know, life safety issues and operational continuity are squared away. And so they've approached us to talk to Metro departments. We are making sure that happens. And to the best of my knowledge, they don't have any issues working with Metro.
Absent, you mentioned SNAP benefits regarding the government shutdown, and hopefully that will be taken care of sooner rather than later. But absent that, and that's a big piece, and I know the governor's working on that, you're working on that, probably the biggest impact that the average folks are feeling if they're not military or work for the government is the airport. Are you talking to folks out at the airport to make sure that there's some good continuity going on there? It feels like we have less of an impact than some major cities.
Yeah. I mean, Doug Krulin talks with me and talks with our team on a regular basis. But even before this moment in the shutdown, there were some already existing issues on, you know, federal touch points with the airport that he briefed us on. This certainly amplifies those. I mean, I would definitely encourage anybody who is traveling this weekend or, you know, throughout the period of the shutdown, and I, like you, hope this gets resolved sooner rather than later. But definitely make sure that either with your airline or checking out flynashville.com, that you're in touch with any delays that are there.
All right, I promise to get you out of here, but before you go, I mean, look, Mayor, I've watched 911 Nashville. This city's going to hell in a handbasket. I mean,
Matt, I do have
Lord
to
have
remind
mercy.
you and your listeners that this is not a documentary. This is a fictional accounting. Here's what's neat about it, though. This was so we had some of our folks from NFD in our Office of Emergency Management. At
Why are
the
you
Red
letting
Carpet
strippers be firefighters, Mayor? We see it on television.
You saw that. That is not a policy of the Nashville Fire Department that, you know, family members who maybe were unknown to other family members immediately come in. We do encourage people to go all the way through the formal training process. But they do regularly ask, the people on the show do regularly ask our first responders, how would you handle this if this happened in real life? And so that's kind of an interesting dimension to it.
Are you watching the show?
I am. Our family is enjoying it together.
I'm you know, I try to give it a go. It's, you know, I love my new city. I love it. I don't know that I love the show, but
I think what we are going to codename you whenever we get invited back, if we get invited back after this, is Smoke Show.
Smoke Show, whatever. You don't call me Smoke Show. I won't call you Feckless Freddie, and we'll call it a day.
I think we can shake hands on that.
We can agree on that. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for answering the tough questions. I appreciate you.
Glad to be here. Thanks,
There's
Matt.
Mayor Freddie O'Connell, 33 after the hour, very late on Super Talk. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Drivers, we've got bridge work west of Nashville that has caused a near 3-hour delay if you're going westbound on 40. The right lane is blocked there at exit 143. Franklin got a crash 65 southbound near Paytonsville Road, Goose Creek bypass, and in Brentwood, an injury crash, Old Hickory Boulevard just east of Cloverland Drive. Rivergate, a crash 65 northbound before Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. The weather is not cooperating. Right now we have a severe thunderstorm warning for Davidson County, northern Williamson County, southeastern Cheatham County until 5:15. This thing is moving east slowly at 35 miles per hour. And it looks like there could be some ping-pong ball-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. The warned area is also under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock.
That's for everybody in Middle Tennessee except for Clarksville. So that means any more storms that pop up and go severe, there is a small possibility that it could produce a tornado. Former Tennessee House Speaker Glenn Cassida and his ex-chief of staff Cade Cothran have been pardoned by President Trump after convictions in a corruption scheme involving a fake consulting firm. But former state rep Robin Smith, who cooperated and testified against them, was not pardoned. Her attorney, Ben Rose of the Rose Law Firm, telling WTN's Matt Murphy Show this is an injustice.
Her best case, her best argument is we don't want this to happen to cooperators. And when you do the right thing, after you make a mistake, we're not saying that she didn't, but when you do the right thing, you need to be able to go forward and make it right with your God and your country and make things better. And that's what she's tried to do.
Rose maintains that only a full pardon, not a commutation, would restore Smith's civil rights and allow her to resume civic life. She's scheduled to report to prison in January to serve an 8-year term. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Franklin got that crash 65 southbound near Paytonsville Road, Goose Creek Bypass. Brentwood, a crash, Old Hickory Boulevard, just east of Cloverland Drive. Rivergate, a crash 65 northbound before Vietnam Veterans Boulevard. And then in Humphreys County, west of Nashville, westbound to 40 is more than a 2-hour delay for bridge work that has the right lane blocked at exit 143. I'm Ken Weaver.
Friends, if you're out and about over the weekend, go down to Savory Spice and stock up, baby. They're in Franklin, right off the square. You'll smell them as you walk through the door, and that's a good thing at Savory Spice because you smell the aromas of Thanksgiving and Christmas this time of year, right? Do me a favor. If y'all go into Savory Spice and see Holly or David or any of the crew, they'll know that it's me that sent you if you ask where the sage is. Because every time I think of Thanksgiving, I think of sage because my grandfather always thought that my grandmother didn't put enough sage in the dressing. I don't know if that's true or not. I know this. Sage goes in dressing, and the only reason I know that is because of my grandpa and my grandma. And I know that they've got some at Savory Spice. They also have all of the other flavors that make the holidays so delicious. So if you're looking to stock the cupboard, you need something specific for a holiday recipe, or you're just looking to look around for gift-giving ideas for the holidays, Savory Spice. You up your food game by upping your spice game. You up your spice game at Savory Spice. Go by and see them today in Franklin. Tell them Murphy sent you. Hello, friends. It's Matt Murphy, and let's talk for a moment about these holidays, right? They're upon us, and so we'll be discussing the holidays quite a bit. And when it comes to holiday shopping, I recommend that you get to Genesis Diamonds. Genesis Diamonds is your one-stop shop for the home run gift. Gentlemen, I'm talking specifically to you. If your wife has hinted around, or your loved one, significant other, whatever, mom even, has hinted around about, earrings or a bracelet or a pendant or maybe a ring, it is time to get it done. They don't work on commission at Genesis Diamonds, so you're not going to feel any pressure. They'll walk you through and explain to you exactly how the diamond buying process works. They'll find out your budget and then point you in the direction of something that is in your budget. Genesis is simply a breath of fresh air in our community, locally owned but internationally connected. They have the buying power to guarantee the best value around, but they never sacrifice on good old-fashioned customer care. It's what they're all about. You will never be treated like a number at Genesis. I know, because they're my jeweler, and I want them to be yours. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills, and Cool Springs. When you stop by, tell them Murphy sent you to Genesis. Super Talk 99.7 WTN, a conversation. Thank you to Ken. Thank you, Ken.
For what, Brother Murphy?
Well, I know you. Believe it or not, y'all, I try to be on time, and I never am with the newscast. And I ran way long because we had Freddie in, and they said that he could stay till 4:30, and so we wanted to maximize our time with him. So thank you, Ken, for allowing me to encroach on the news time.
Well, I'll let it slide this time, Brother Murphy.
All right, I wish for a victory for your Sooners this weekend. Who y'all playing?
We're beating off.
615-737-9986 if you want to get involved on the super text line or on the phone lines while Ken and his Oklahoma Sooners do that. We'll talk about other things. Jackson.
Yeah.
I'm already getting the hell beat out of me on the super text line. You see that?
Yeah, what'd you do?
I interviewed Freddie O'Connell. And 3425 writes in, and, that's fine. Everyone has an opinion. I'm not afraid of it. Very soft interview, Matt. Slick-talking politician knows how to slant the questions to his liberal point of view, and you let him get away with it. Well, what did you want me to do? I mean, you know that he's a slick-talking politician, check. You know that he slanted the questions to his own liberal point of view, check. So I think we both learned something today, didn't we? So you were able to learn something without what? I mean, I felt like we got the questions that folks wanted in. Grant says that he wants to see you in the office, Ken, by the way, based on your previous comment. Grant's a little shocked and amazed that Ken Weaver said that and not Jackson Williams. I'm frankly...
Well, we're off.
It's true. Weekend. You're off.
Yeah, we're going to beat them.
You're going to beat off.
Oh, God.
We're going to beat it. We're going to hang half 100 on it.
And then we're going to hit the showers. Then we're going to hit the showers and clean up. After we hang.
Boomer!
We're going to hang a big number on them. Yes, 2637 says at least Freddie's willing to come on the show, unlike Gary Humble. It's true. Hey, Gary, I know you listen to the show every day, although you deny it. Look how soft I was with Freddie O'Connell. Imagine how weak-kneed I'll be with you. What about that? 2660, well, you must be on your way to being holy with all the hell beaten out of you. Yeah, well, I get the hell beat out of me. That's fine. Look, all I can do is ask the questions. I do think that there is value in hearing directly from Mayor Freddie O'Connell. Now, I'll tell you one thing that I took away from the interview. When I asked him about John Ingram, I'm not asking that question. I'm not pulling all of that information randomly. It is my understanding that John Ingram, the owner of Nashville Soccer Club, John Ingram, who owns Geodis, John Ingram has $2 million that he's willing to give to affordable housing in the state of Tennessee, in the city of Nashville, and the county of Davidson, and that he's withholding that money. It's my understanding. I don't know if it's true or not. John, call me. It's my understanding that he's holding back on that money because he doesn't want the Bristol Motor Speedway deal to happen. Let me give you a real clear answer on this. Freddie says, this, that, and the other thing. We're still working on it. They're going back to the beginning, right? We did all of this 2.5 years ago, every bit of it. There were community surveys. There were community studies. There were sound abatement studies. All of this. I sat in a 4-hour Fair Board meeting, 4 hours, listening to all of this, and the Fair Board voted in favor of it and sent it to the city council, and it's been sitting there since then. And it's been so long. They're waiting. You know what they're waiting for? For Bristol to say to hell with it and pull out. That's what they're waiting on. Because John Ingram wants them to wait on it. Now, the takeaway was I asked that question the way that I did on purpose. I said, I hear that this is happening. Do you hear that this is happening? And you know what Freddie said? I do. I've heard that. So he denies that he's had any conversation with John Ingram. Okay, that's fine. Freddie also said he's had no conversation with the boring company. And then we find out that, and look, I challenged him on that too. The mayor's office said, Freddie was asked, have you talked to the boring company? And Freddie says, no, I haven't talked to the boring company. And then we find out that his office did. Well, come on, man. Let's not be like a politician. Let's not be like a politician, which is the point in bringing it all up. So, bottom line is this. All I can do is ask the questions. Freddie answers them, and you get to digest whether or not these are palatable answers to the questions asked. On the issue of LPO, I have said in the past, and I've said it in front of Freddie, and I'll say it to you, and because it's true. The only thing that it seems that we've been able to do quickly around here since Freddie's been mayor is pass taxes. We passed a transit tax. We got a property tax increase. And now there's conversation on the Metro Council about impact fees. And, oh, by the way, I wasn't making that up either. It's my understanding that a Republican has indicated a willingness to carry that bill in the state legislature. So for those that don't know, the city of Nashville wants impact fees, and they don't currently have them, and many other communities do. And this is a way for communities to generate money based on the building and the signs of progress that you see within a city. And obviously those impact fees are passed along to the end consumer, but I won't get into the philosophy of it right now. Nashville doesn't currently have that. A Metro councilor throws it out because they want to generate $15 billion or whatever it is for infrastructure needs, which I thought that's what the transit tax was for. That's what I thought the property tax was for, but whatever. And the mayor says, no, I'm not that interested in it. Well, one Metro councilor floats that idea. They pass a resolution on the Metro Council. They get it to a state representative willing to carry the bill, and who knows what happens after that. If enough of the local representatives convince their colleagues in the House of Representatives and in the Senate that that's a local measure that needs to be handled locally, it might pass. And then where are we? So thank you all for your commentary. I'll absorb it. Your calls, 615-737-9986. FriJay is coming up at 5 o'clock until Nincompoops in the News. That's coming up at 5:35. And Sean Farash is on the way. I said it right. Didn't I say it right?
I think.
Sean Farash.
Will Jay have a nincompoop?
I mean, we could ask him. Probably me.
I mean, he's a lawyer. He knows all kinds of nincompoops.
Yeah, I feel like Jay could win nincompoops. And we should ask him today.
Jay and I are about to go on our first real estate seminar meeting in a long, long time.
Oh, y'all going in on a timeshare?
In the next couple of weeks. We do some real estate development surveying, and we do a little financial seminar on the side over there in Tunica, Mississippi. We do that on occasion, and it's the first time that I've had an opportunity to do it in a while, so I'm very excited about that.
He could tell about some of his weirder cases, couldn't he?
Oh, yeah. I mean, you know what? We should ask him. We should ask him to, in
See
the
if he
spirit,
can come up with like a nincompoop case.
in the spirit of Nincompoops in the News, we should ask his weirdest, oddest case over the years that he's been doing this. I bet he's got some funny ones. 52 after the hour. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I am kind of in a mood. I like hearing Matt Murphy on Matt Murphy. I love Murphy on Murphy action, if you know what I'm saying. Hey, I love the Glock store, too. And the Glock store is all about Black Friday, and they're talking about it, and I'm talking about it. I'm excited about it. So did you go to the Vortex sale? I was unable to go by. I was out of town, but it's my understanding it was incredible. And now they're doing something that's going to blow the doors off the Vortex giveaways. They gave away like tens of thousands of dollars of red dot optics and the like at the Vortex giveaway sale. And now at the big Black Friday sale-abration, they're planning on even more. Tons of giveaways. It's like a party atmosphere. They'll have discounts on everything in the store, including Glocks, discounts on accessories, discounts on ammo, discounts on magazines, discounts on everything, and live music and giveaways, and discounts, did I mention that? And giveaways, and food trucks and giveaways. So I know that you're probably all over the joint on Black Friday, but you need to make this a first stop on Black Friday, especially for the gun aficionado in your life. The Glock store, it's the big Black Friday sale-abration, and it's obviously happening the day after Thanksgiving on Black Friday. I'll have more details coming up for you. Stop by the store today, or certainly stop by on Black Friday. Glockstore.com or shoot270.com. Minutes away from the airport, worth the drive from anywhere. It's the incomparable Glock store. All right, so you hear talk about the holidays, and you probably are thinking to yourself, man, oh, man, there's a lot of food going on in the holidays, and I'm already a little pudgy around the middle, and what am I going to do, Murphy? How about give yourself an early holiday gift with Contours and Contours LLC? So I'm telling you, it is a testimony. I'm a testimony to the effectiveness of Contours because I've had 3 visits and I've lost size around my waist. I've noticed my pants are falling off now. My shirts are fitting better. Thank you to Contours. I'd lost weight, right? I had invested the time and the energy to lose weight, but I couldn't get it off on the middle. My haunches, you know the old haunch action going on. They call that the spare tire. Could not get it off. And then I met Keith and Stephanie. I'd heard Dan talking about him, heard Chad talking about him. I said, I got to do this. And it works. Friends, I lost 2.5 inches first visit, and they guarantee 2 inches or you don't pay the $99 introductory belly buster special that they're running right now. A one-time, first-time special, $99. Try it. You will love it. And you can, in advance of the holidays, in a non-invasive way, there's no incisions, no downtime, no pain, no complications, nothing. It's red light therapy, and it works. ContoursLLC.com. That's ContoursLLC.com. Or call today, 615-236-9960. Call this number, 615-236-9960. They'll answer any questions you have and schedule your first appointment for you at Contours LLC.
Former Tennessee House Speaker Glenn Cassida and his chief of staff have been pardoned. What about the state representative that cooperated and testified against them? Hear from her attorney coming up at 5 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
You know what I think we should do?
What's that, Brother Murphy?
I think we should create a persona for Ken when he does traffic. Like new name, maybe new voice inflection, like a new guy, so we can have a fourth guy on the afternoon show. What do y'all think?
I should do it like W.C. Fields. Oh, yes. 40 westbound, about a 3-hour delay.
What's, W.C. Weaver, what's I-24 doing?
Sucking.
I think it should be Gabriel Montoya.
My name is Gabriel Montoya.
Gabriel Montoya.
The I-24, she is nasty.
And I'll say, like after every report, I'll say, my friend.
Oh, stay trafficky, my friend. Yeah, I like it. I did traffic in Montgomery, Alabama for a while.
Yeah.
And I was Captain Ron.
I worked with a gal out in Albuquerque. Her name was Sharon Lanes.
Sharon Lanes, I like that. The guy that took over for me, I was Captain Ron, and I played a helicopter in the background every time I did one.
Excellent.
And the guy that took over for me was Major Delay. I'm Major Delay. That's pretty good. Rocky Roads.
That's good.
Yeah, Dusty Roads. Yeah. Oh, there's a bunch of them. All right, we've got 5 o'clock news coming up right now on Super Talk 99.7 WTN, and then Jay St. Clair and a late edition of FriJay on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hang in.
Five o'clock on the dot this Friday afternoon. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Got the full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. The forecast is the top story right now. We've got a severe thunderstorm warning for Davidson, Rutherford, Central Williamson, and Southern Wilson counties until 6 o'clock. This storm is moving east at 35 miles per hour. Lots of lightning in it. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts, quarter-size hail in some places, and some very heavy rain. Meanwhile, the tornado watch remains in effect until 10 o'clock tonight for Middle Tennessee, including the severe thunderstorm warned areas. Former Tennessee House Speaker Glenn Cassida and ex-Chief of Staff Cade Cothran were pardoned by President Trump after convictions in a corruption scheme. Both were set to report to prison later this month. Former State Rep Robin Smith, who cooperated and testified against them, did not get a pardon. Her attorney, Ben Rose, tells WTN's Matt Murphy Show that decision is an injustice.
Her best case, her best argument is we don't want this to happen to cooperators. And when you do the right thing, after you make a mistake, we're not saying that she didn't, but when you do the right thing, you need to be able to go forward and make it right with your God and your country and make things better. And that's what she's trying to do.
Rose maintains that only a full pardon, not a commutation, would restore Smith's civil rights and allow her to resume civic life. She's scheduled to report to prison in January to serve an 8-year term. In our nation's capital, Republicans have rejected Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer's offer to end the government shutdown. Schumer said Democrats would approve a short-term funding measure if it included a 1-year extension of Obamacare tax subsidies, not permanent like they were originally demanding. Well, Majority Leader John Thune says no, end the government shutdown, period, then we'll negotiate health care. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy says flight reductions could reach 20% if the government shutdown drags on. They've already been cut by 10% due to what Duffy says is concerning data, but he didn't offer specifics while on CBS Morning News.
As we were looking at the data, we were seeing increased numbers in some of the categories we don't like. And it's because we have controllers. The same controllers usually show up for work, and the same controllers that don't show up. And so we saw controllers working 6 days a week, 10-hour days. That pressure on the controllers were giving us numbers that were not troubling, but were concerning. And so my job is to be preemptive.
Airlines began trimming schedules today and expect more reductions next week. By the way, right now at BNA, you've got 36% of flights that are late or very late, but there's also a ground stop due to the severe thunderstorm that we're experiencing right now over Nashville. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Rural Hill injury crash blocking the left 2 lanes, 24 westbound near Bell Road. Glencliff, a crash blocking the right lane, 24 westbound near the Antioch Pike overpass. Franklin, a crash. 65 southbound near the Paytonsville Road, Goose Creek bypass. Brentwood, an accident blocking the right lane. 65 northbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. And bridge work west of Nashville in Humphreys County has 40 westbound delayed by more than 2 hours because the right lane is blocked at exit 143. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hello, friends. Matt Murphy here. It is the Matt Murphy Radio Show, underway for another hour. It is officially the weekend. At least that's what we call it, right after 5 o'clock on Super Talk 99.7 WTN on these Fridays. Thank you for being with us. We appreciate each and every one of you. Whatever time you're able to give us, we're thankful. Jackson Williams is behind the glass. He controls everything that comes out of our speakers, makes it sound as good as humanly possible, and I appreciate the good work that he does. Oh, it's not often. It's few and far between, that good work, but we appreciate it when it comes along. Now, Ken Weaver, great work twice an hour, and then on the traffic thing, I mean, he does fine work back there in News Closet B, and we appreciate him as well, and we appreciate all of you. I'll introduce Jay St. Clair, who's normally here on 4 o'clock on FriJay. FriJay delayed because of Mayor Freddie O'Connell's presence in the last hour of the show. Hope you enjoyed that interview, and if you missed any of the interview, you can find it. I'm assuming we're going to podcast that?
Yeah, we'll podcast.
Put that up and running. Maybe put a little, isolate that and make it a little YouTube deal on its own.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Put some graphics or whatever over there. You know, wouldn't that be nice?
Yeah.
I think that would be nice. I also think it's nice that all of you weekend warriors are out there and you make our weekend special and possible. We like to remind you of this on Fridays at 5 o'clock. We appreciate you so much. You firefighters, police officers, doctors, nurses, EMTs, those of you that work the weekends in the restaurants, in the convenience stores, truck drivers, whatever you're doing, if you're working on the weekend, you warriors, thank you. Because we have a couple of days off. That doesn't mean that we don't recognize you that keep it going during the weekend, that make our weekends so enjoyable. So we say thank you to all of you. Without further ado, ladies and germs, get your legal questions in here. It's time for FriJay.
Good morning, Americans. It's FriJay.
Yeah, it's FriJay. Super Talk 99.7 WTN. I want to thank my good friend, my gambling buddy, my legal correspondent, and my legal advisor, Jay St. Clair, for agreeing to be delayed for an hour so that we could sit down with Mayor Freddie O'Connell. And I know that 5 o'clock on Fridays is Martini Hour, and so I know we're encroaching on that. So, Jay, a special thank you. How are you? Hey,
cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, I love it. Jay, I botched the question, but I want to ask it again. How you doing?
Okay.
How you doing?
You know, if I was any better, I'd be my dog.
Miss Olivia. How's she doing?
She's doing great. She's so healthy and happy and loving life.
Jay, I got to tell you, and I know that we're here to talk the law, and if anybody has any legal questions, get them in here. I know it's a different time, but and we have a compressed amount of time this time around because we got nincompoops in the news coming up at 5:35. But, Jay, let me tell you, it's like the racing gods wanted me to be rooting for Denny. And I said it after. Look, I said it after, and I wouldn't even look, and I'm well on record that I love rooting against Denny Hamlin and, to heck with Denny Hamlin. But my goodness gracious, the way that thing ended, I felt, you're not a human being if you don't feel bad for the guy.
No, there's so many aspects to it. And Did you see what Kyle Larson's code words were for 2 tires and 4 tires? You know, they have to hide all this stuff now because everybody's listening.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know the full story of this, but I think I do. Did you see anything?
I did not.
So he's coming in, and you know they're talking. He's talking to his crew chief. Well, is it going to be 2 or 4? Well, they don't say that anymore. And Cliff, you know, asked you, so what do you think? He said, well, I don't know. Do we want some money or do we want some stewards? I think I'm going to take some money. It's okay. We'll get you money.
Money?
So money was 2 tires.
Uh-huh.
Stewart was 4 tires.
Uh-huh.
Now, why would they use those words? Well, Stewart has to be Tony Stewart.
That's what I would think.
So do you know any race car driver whose last name is Money?
I don't.
Young Money. I guarantee you what that is. What that is, because I don't know if you saw his speech at the end.
Uh-huh.
And he said, and he was saying, you know, I'm getting a little bit older. I think instead of my nickname being Young Money, it now needs to be middle-aged.
Middle-aged Money. That's pretty funny. And for those that don't know, yeah, his nickname is Young Money.
I'll guarantee you that was, you know, they have to change him every week, right? So,
right.
And yeah, Money was 2 tires, and Stewart was 4. And you know, when Danny says no, 4 was the way to go, and you know, I've heard a lot of discussion about all that. They just didn't expect that many people to take 2 tires. But I mean, my word, he was 40 seconds away, man. 40 seconds away from being a NASCAR champion.
Well, and you can't. I mean, it's not like what happened. I mean, it was a driver that was in the championship run in the finals, right? It was a Hendricks driver. It was why can't I think of his name? Byron. Yeah. The 24 car is the one whose tire exploded. So I mean, he was pushing. He was in what, 2nd or 3rd place, pushing as hard as he could.
Front. But I mean, this is the end of the
3 laps. 3 laps.
mean, well, it's the end of saying, okay, winner take all the last race. That's going away. It'll never come back because it's just not right for the sport.
What do you think they'll do?
You know, I've not followed it real closely. I do not think they'll go back to the original season-long point thing, although it's interesting because, you know, there's been a lot of talk about it this year. And so people keep up with it as if it were still the old original system, season-long point system.
Uh-huh.
If they had been under the old season-long point system, who do you think would have been the champion?
Well, either Denny or Kyle.
Kyle Larson.
Well, there you go.
Denny would have been like 7th or 8th.
Oh, really? Funny how things work out, huh?
Yeah, it is. But I think what they'll do is it may be a little bit more like the chase, you know, was where you get, they're talking about whether it's going to be 3, 3, and 4, cut it down to 16, then you have 3 races, cut it down to 12, 3 races, cut it down to 8, and then the last 4 races together will determine the champion.
You know, what do you think about that, just on first blush?
You know, I'd be fine with just the old system, frankly, because I'm old school, and that's what I grew up with, and all this other stuff feels a little gimmicky to me. But you know, they got to do away with this deal about it being just a one-shot thing. I mean, I get it, Super Bowl's that way, but that season's 16 long. I mean, you know, it's more like baseball.
Well, where
it's best of 7.
Well, and the fact of the matter is that some drivers are better on some tracks than are on other tracks. And so you can't, you know, it's difficult for me to tell you that, you know, if you pick this racetrack as the final race and it's a winner take all, that doesn't give you know what I mean? It's just.
No, it does. Yeah. It absolutely does. Sure. And that's why, and I think, you know, and the sport is built on variety and racing a lot of different racetracks. And, you know, maybe that's why in the Final Four they ought to have 4 very different tracks, you know, a road course, a super speedway, and then a couple of, you know, then maybe a Phoenix 1 mile track and then a 1.5 mile track.
I like it.
But it doesn't need to be one. It doesn't need to come down. You know, well, everybody goes into the last race even.
Well, it's funny because memory's a strange thing. You know, I heard the great Rush Limbaugh say one time that nostalgia is a form of depression. I've always remembered that. It's an interesting way of saying, you know, I don't think it is necessarily. I think it can be.
I remember when Tennessee beat Alabama 8 years in a row. There's a lot of depression in that.
There's a lot of depression in that statement. I'll leave it be because I don't want to. I don't want to poke the bear. No, wait, that's a pun. I didn't mean to do that.
Well, the bear was gone when that happened.
That's true. That's true. But, when people talk about how much better it was back in the day, and I get it. When I first started watching racing, right, it was that way, that it was a season-long championship. That's where Jeff Gordon, my driver back in the day, won most of his championships. Right. But they want to talk about competition. You and I have talked about this on the golf course. That you go back and listen to some of those races. Sometimes SiriusXM played old races from the 80s.
Yeah, there's 3 cars on the lead lap.
There's 3 cars on the lead lap. It's like, what are y'all talking about competition? Give me a break. Jay, before we go to a break, speaking of, which we have to do, question for Jay, 1221, first one of the day. You ready?
Yep.
I'm thinking about suing Matt Murphy over his interview with the mayor. I've got $140. Does it matter what kind of crayon I use?
Now, you can use any crayon. Up until last week, I would have suggested orange, but Ken Weaver might now say it ought to be Oklahoma red.
I don't know what shade of red that is that they use out in Soonerland. It's not the Bammer red. And it's
crimson and cream.
Ken says it's crimson and cream, Jay.
Not crimson and clover.
No, sir.
Crimson and cream. Well, that's great. I hope you had fun, Ken. I don't know if that's the first time at Neyland, but, the blackout deal was just awesome.
I loved it, and I'm ready to go back. I mean, I loved that experience. I've never been to a football game with 102,000 people, all screaming against me.
Yeah.
And it was something, and I can't get that eerie Rocky Top song out of my head.
Oh, yeah. I bet they played Spooky Rocky Top more than once.
Oh, it was great.
Well, and isn't it fascinating? We mentioned this right after the game, Jay. Isn't it fascinating, Ken, how quiet that 102,000 people can get toward the end?
Well, we didn't allow for that because we kept screwing up.
Well, that's true. I just did. That's just a joke that I do specifically for Jackson Williams because he gives me the ugly face every time. Oh, yeah, I know I'm number one, buddy. All right, Jay, we'll get to some real questions coming up in just a moment. An abbreviated FriJay edition. It's 18 minutes, almost 19 minutes after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Hey, one of our listeners, Ken, said that crimson and cream is a color commonly found on shorty shorts. I don't know what that means. Hey, Grace Point Healthcare, affordable, convenient, and comprehensive medicine delivered in a direct pay format. I know what that means. They are your primary care provider in Franklin, located conveniently anywhere within the sound of my voice. They're worth the drive, friends, because you don't have to wait. You don't have to wait days or weeks in some cases to get in. If you're feeling bad today, you need a doctor's visit today or tomorrow, and you can get that at Grace Point Healthcare. Plus, you know exactly what you are paying. And that's important to me. And additionally, they're not going to allow the insurance company to dictate what type of service they provide you. They're invested in your health. They're invested in getting you better. They're not invested on selling you anything out of the pharmaceutical industry. They're not invested in listening to the insurance company. They're invested in your health. And that relationship is sacrosanct at Grace Point Healthcare. So I encourage you to call them today at 599-6868. 599-6868. It is Grace Point Healthcare, modern medicine delivered the old-fashioned way. Hello, folks. It's Matt Murphy for Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply. Now, you might be wondering, why is Murphy talking about landscaping and it's the middle of November? Because this is an important time of year. Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply is your local source for genuine Kawasaki engine parts and service. They carry Kawasaki engine parts and lubricants for your lawn equipment. And right now at Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply, I mean, obviously they're offering the pre-emergent and some of the winterization products that you need to be putting on your lawn, and they invite you to come in and talk about those. But they're also offering their winter service special with free pickup and delivery of a zero-turn mower, full service. It's a great time of year to get your mower serviced and ready to go for the spring. So beat the spring rush. Don't do this in February. They are jam-packed in February. Go ahead and do it, take care of it, and you'll be done with the process. Call your closest to Dickens Turf and Landscape location for details. Buy Kawasaki. Go where the pros go. Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply online at DickensSupply.com. That's DickensSupply.com. Or Nashville, Bellevue, Murfreesboro, Brentwood, Mower, Hendersonville, Mount Juliet, and Franklin. It's Dickens Turf and Landscape Supply online at DickensSupply.com.
Good news to report about the tornado watch. Davidson, Williamson, it looks like Robertson and Sumner and Montgomery counties, Cheatham counties. You're no longer in the tornado watch. Everybody else is until 10 o'clock. Severe thunderstorm warning right now for Wilson and Rutherford counties until 6. And Republicans have rejected Democrats' offer to reopen the federal government as long as the Obamacare tax subsidies were extended for at least a year. We'll tell you about that at 5:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
There you go. Thank you, Ken Weaver. All right. Phone lines are wide open for Jay St. Clair right now. Nobody on the phone. So if you've got a question for Jay, if you've ever thought about asking a legal mind of this caliber a question about the law, now's your opportunity. 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. Get them in here, and we'll get to your questions on the super text line as well. Jay Jackson brought something up to me, and I don't think I've ever asked you this. You know, we've got we call it nincompoops in the news. It's our, fun stories.
Yeah, right.
You've been practicing law for a long time. Do you, and I'm putting you on the spot, but off the top of your head, what's the weird, do you have a weird case that you talk about or something that went down in your life in the legal profession that comes to mind when I talk to you about nincompoops? Maybe not.
You're talking about my.
I'm just talking about, yeah. I mean, is there anything, and maybe it isn't. I mean, because I know you represent companies, and when we talk about your past, obviously the Ledbetter case comes up, and I'm so sorry y'all lost that case.
No, I can't think of, when I think of nincompoops, I think about somebody doing really something stupid or crazy.
Yeah.
And, I don't see those, right? Because they don't get to my level.
Right.
It just doesn't happen.
Right.
I can tell you about I think the greatest moment I had in the courtroom.
Okay.
My only true Perry Mason moment. And this was, it was really good. It was a case where a lady was suing, claiming the company lied to her about relocating their company from Birmingham to New Orleans, that they defrauded her.
Uh-huh.
And so that's what she was suing about. And she was pretty high in the company. And I thought about, how do I want to do this? And so I had to set a trap, which, I don't get a chance to do very often.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew she was involved in planning the move. I knew that. So she knew it was coming. It was no surprise to her. And she got up and went to testify, and she cried about, oh, God, it was awful. I didn't know what was going on. And I said, well, ma'am, so you're sitting in this meeting and they announced that they're moving to New Orleans.
Uh-huh.
Yes, they did. It broke my heart. And I said, well, the first thing you did when you heard that is you went out of that meeting, marched right down to the hall to the CEO of the company, Mr. Watts, burst into his office, said, what do you mean we're moving to New Orleans? Why did you do that? That's the first thing you did, isn't it? No, I didn't do that. That's right. You didn't. Because that came as no surprise to you at all. You had known that for months, hadn't you? Yeah.
Did she say yes?
Yes. Well, she had to. That was my only Perry Mason moment, right? When, Perry Mason at the end of it, he gets a witness on the witness stand who breaks down and confesses.
That's right.
And so I thought about this a long time, man. Set this trap up. Yeah, well, I guess you call it trap. But, so you reverse it, right?
Right.
So, well, wait a minute. If this really was a surprise, here's what you would have done.
Right.
That was the genius of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can be a little dramatic about it. And I put some butter on the toast. And the first thing you did was went charging down that hall, went in his office and said, how dare you do this to me and my family?
And you set it up because she's predispositioned to say, no, that's not what I did.
No, I didn't do it because I knew she would deny that. No, I didn't do that. No, you didn't. Did you?
Oh, wow.
And then you lower your voice.
Right.
No, you didn't. Did you?
You give a little, hey, Jay, when you did that, did you give a little peeky peek to the jury?
Yeah.
A little peeky peek?
Yeah.
No, I don't like that. I've had some lawyers that looked at the jury. No, you don't do that. You finish your business, and then when you're walking back to counsel table, you may glance over there.
Yeah.
But no smile, no smirk, no.
Right.
They don't like that.
Right. Well, I love it. I absolutely love it. Let's get to real quick to Julia, who is on with FriJay. Julia, what do you got?
Oh, it's not quick, but I'll make it quick.
Uh-oh.
FriJay, you're not going to believe this. I went into workman's comp court pro se, and I won against an insurance company.
Please tell me you took a crayon with you.
I didn't take a crayon with me. I took facts and bigger coyotes than their side even dreamed of having.
I did not expect you to talk dirty during this call.
I did. I told you I'd make it quick, so I got to the point. It can be done. I used AI for all of my briefs and my motions and everything.
Julia, thank you for calling, because it is possible for people to represent themselves. Sometimes people are, they're hesitant to do that, and there's sometimes when you just have to have a lawyer. But some things like workers' comp you can do yourself, particularly if you listen to a really smart lawyer on the radio.
That's true.
And so thank you for calling in and telling us that and encourage. And I've heard from several people, because I'll say it. I mean, it is $140 to file it in general sessions. I don't know what workers' comp is. You probably didn't have to file anything. They filed. You probably didn't have to pay a filing fee. But that's great, Julia. Tell me, did you get a Perry Mason moment?
Well, we'll never know. We lost Julia, Jay.
Okay.
We'll never know. Well, maybe she'll call us back next week.
I'm going to just imagine she had a Perry Mason moment, too.
Well, if she's talking about her cojones, she must have.
My word, man.
Jay, she said, I didn't say it.
I know. I was shocked. I'm over here blushing.
Jay, I love it. Thank you for extending us a little grace and courtesy at the 5 o'clock hour. Enjoy your Friday. Pet Miss Olivia, and I cannot wait for a couple of weekends from now for our real estate development seminar.
No, I'm looking forward to it. You'll take care of the real estate appointment.
Oh, yeah. I've got those appointments taken care of.
Perfect.
Absolutely.
Thank you, bro.
All right, we'll see you soon. 32 after the hour on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. Still got a severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Rutherford and Wilson counties until 6 o'clock. This storm is 7 miles east of Walter Hill, 10 miles northeast of Murfreesboro. It's moving east at 40 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail are possible. Now, a tornado watch remains in effect until 10 o'clock for some parts of Middle Tennessee. Davidson County is in the clear. Sumner, Robertson, Montgomery, Cheatham, Williamson counties, you're all in the clear. Dixon County in the clear of this tornado watch. Everybody else still under the tornado watch until 10 o'clock tonight. Got the full forecast and a traffic update in 5 minutes. Government shutdown. Republicans have rejected Democrats' offer to reopen the federal government as long as Obamacare tax subsidies are extended for at least a year rather than permanently. Well, Senate Majority Leader John Thune said no. Reopen the government, then we'll negotiate health care for all, not just Obamacare. Former Tennessee House Speaker Glenn Cassidy and ex-Chief of Staff Kate Cothran were pardoned by President Trump after convictions in a corruption scheme. Both were set to report to prison later this month. Former State Rep Robin Smith, who cooperated and testified against them, did not receive a pardon. Her attorney, Ben Rose, telling WTN's Matt Murphy Show that decision is an injustice.
Everybody really should want that, not just Robin Smith, because we want cooperators to come to the government, admit that they're wrong, and then help prosecute the real defendants that are guilty. And that's what she did. And I think, we're past the stage now for sentencing, and the only available remedy to her is a presidential pardon, and I think she's entitled to one.
Rose maintains that only a full pardon, not a commutation, would restore Smith's civil rights and allow her to resume civic life. She's scheduled to report to prison in January to serve an 8-year term. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. Well, in addition to the severe thunderstorms that we're dealing with, we do have some crashes. Right now, Franklin, 65 southbound near Paytonsville Road, Goose Creek Bypass. Then at BNA, an accident blocking the left lane, 40 eastbound, right there at exit 216. We've got a crash 24 westbound near Bell Road. And looking over here in Humphreys County, west of Nashville, we've still got a more than 3-hour delay. It is actually 3.5-hour delay due to bridge work that has the right lane blocked, 40 westbound, just past Linden, Waverly, Tennessee 13, exit 143. I'm Ken Weaver.
Hey, friends, Matt Murphy for King & Associates Insurance, your home and your automobile. Very important investments in your life. You need to protect those investments with King & Associates Insurance. They protect both with coverage that fits your life and fits your budget. Now, here's the deal. I insist that some companies that I represent, spokesperson on radio, are local. I mean, I just appreciate the local nature of companies like this, and one of them is the insurance industry, because I want to be able to talk to my agent. I want to be able to sit down with them. I want to be able to go over the facts. I want to be able to understand it in a way that makes sense, and King & Associates does just that. They're local. They're independent. They work for you. That's another key, right? They don't work for one of the big insurance companies. They work for you, and they shop the entire marketplace and find the right product for you. Visit tkinginsurance.com. That's tkinginsurance.com, or call today at 329-8121, 329-8121 for a free quote on home and auto insurance, giving you peace of mind. 329-8121 or tkinginsurance.com. King & Associates, protecting what matters most. All right, I have failed the audience. I did not ask Jay about the pardons. I'll tell you why, because we've talked about the presidential pardon power in the past, and that presidential pardon power is obviously pretty sacrosanct. It's constitutional in its nature. But I'm as frustrated as you about Donald Trump's decision. And ultimately, the buck stops with the president of the United States. Curious your thoughts, 615-737-9986. 615-737-9986. If you have any thoughts about the pardons, Cassida and Catherine, I wasn't around back then. But my level of research indicates to me that they were full of themselves. I've been told that staffers understood to steer clear of Cade Catherine because of the manner in which he did his business in the Capitol. Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts. Absolute power corrupts absolutely, I guess, is the Henry Kissinger quote. I might be mangling it. But yeah, it just smacks of homerism or teamism. But the law doesn't operate in that fashion. The law should be the law, right? Now, the fall from grace, it's my understanding, and once again, I don't pretend to be any sort of expert on this subject because it was before me. But it was my understanding that all of this started with a text scandal involving the House Speaker, Glenn Cassida, exchanging sexist/racist/sexually explicit text messages about women with Cade Catherine. And this happened several years. Y'all hear that rain, by the way? Raining in downtown Nashville. Be on the alert if you're on the way home or on the way here. By the way, Sean Farish, going to be late because of I-24. The scandal apparently started back in 2016, but it was discovered in 2019. The messages included sexually explicit language about women within the office. At least one group text contained what was considered to be racially charged language. In one exchange, Cassida and Catherine joked about the ages of women. Apparently, that it was a big deal that they only needed to be 18 for these guys. So it was unseemly. And when it became public, while the texts were exchanged in 2016, it came to light in news reports in May of 2019. Cassida initially denied it, but eventually he admitted it, and it led to his resignation. Did he resign? Ken, were you here back then? Did he resign as just Speaker, or did he resign his House seat?
He just resigned as Speaker.
I got it. So then the scandal surrounding his behavior made it difficult for him to find work exterior to his role as a representative of the people. And so this led to Cassida Catherine and former Representative Robin Smith to create a company called the Phoenix Solutions Group that was then used to funnel money from political campaigns to themselves for use in mailers and whatnot. And that's where it was argued by the federal government that they misrepresented themselves and they misrepresented the work product that they were doing. Honest services fraud, that phrase came into being. And you can argue whether honest services fraud is too broad of a category, but you cannot argue that Cassida and Catherine were guilty of what they were charged with, hence the guilty verdict by a jury of their peers, most of which was predicated on Robin Smith's testimony in this regard. Well, Robin Smith, for her trouble, got only 8 months in a prison sentence that she has yet to serve. She is scheduled to report in January. So we talked to Ben Rose, the attorney for Robin Smith, and obviously Ben Rose, his job as attorney is to represent his client, and he feels like, look, he's not making a judgment. He told us this. He's not making a judgment on whether or not these pardons should have happened. He's making a judgment on the idea that they happened to Cothran and Cassida, but not to Robin Smith, and it doesn't feel right to anyone. I don't like this at all, and there's nothing wrong with Trump supporters saying that. Donald Trump is not infallible. And Donald Trump is somewhat, especially in this regard, dependent on the people around him. And I have no idea what powerful political people managed to say to the president or who managed to get to the president, but somebody did. For me, the rule of law should remain the same for everyone. Secondarily, I would suggest that individuals who are called to serve the public ought to be held to certainly the same standard, if not a higher standard. And these people apparently weren't. And they deserved what they got. So Cassida was convicted of 17 counts of fraud, bribery, theft, conspiracy, money laundering in May of 2025, earlier this year, sentenced to 3 years in federal prison in September of this year. And obviously, Donald Trump has now granted a full pardon for his federal convictions. Something that I disagree with. It is impossible for me, without sounding like a hypocrite, to argue that Joe Biden pardoned too many people, that Joe Biden did not know the people he was pardoning, if I am not to criticize the president of the United States now, Donald Trump, when he does the same thing. And when you pardon, Bitcoin guy and you don't know who he is, or you pardon Cassida, I would argue that Donald Trump does not know who Cassida is. I would argue that he doesn't know who Cade Cothran is. And just because they're on Team Republican should not give them any sort of special audience with the president of the United States. This is, in the grand scheme of things, a small thing. There are many other important matters to discuss, getting the government back open. And I am proud to note that the Republicans have not fallen for the trap that was set by Chuck Schumer and the Democrats today by allowing for another year of the failure of Obamacare to continue in the form of government subsidy, taxpayer-funded subsidy. Good. The Democrats created this crisis. The Democrats can fix it by voting us the continuing resolution and to get ourselves out of it. Larry's in Clarksville, and he joins us next on the Matt Murphy Show. Hello, Larry.
Hey, Matt. Thanks for taking my call. And first of all, and I have been a Trump supporter since way back when. I mean, first, I liked, the dude from Texas, the senator from Texas. I can't even remember his damn name now.
Theodore Cruz.
No. Now he's got a beard and he's always on all the news.
No, it really is. His first name is Theodore. It's Ted Cruz, but his first name is Theodore.
Yeah, okay, yeah, all right.
I think.
But this is absolutely wrong. This was absolutely wrong for the president to pardon these two who were indicted by a grand jury and then found guilty by a jury of their peers. I want to know, Matt, who brought this to Trump's desk and said, hey, you need to pardon these guys. That's what I want to know. And and listen, I was here when all that crap was going on. I was here when all the text messages were going on, all that got divulged. And then I was here when all this other crap came out. They were found guilty. I don't give a flying rat's rear end what letter you have behind your name. You need to be held accountable.
Two things, Larry. One, I was wrong. His name is Rafael Edward Cruz, a.k.a. Ted Cruz. I guessed on the Theodore. Number two, I would like to know the same thing. I understand that if you're Glenn Cassida you are well connected in the state of Tennessee. I would like to see how those connections extended. I don't know who he's friends with, right? But someone got to the White House. I would suggest that Donald Trump did not come up with this on his own. Like I said at the beginning of the show, I'm hard-pressed to believe that Donald Trump got up this morning and thought, oh, who can I pardon today? Let's find somebody from the state of Tennessee. Let's search someone that has been, unjustly convicted. So someone brought this to his desk, and someone convinced him that it was a worthy pardon, and it's not. When you break the law, when you violate the trust of the people, particularly if you're a politician, you need to be held to account, especially if you hold yourself up to that higher standard as a Republican. We need to monitor and take care of our own sins. I mean, well, I say ours. I'm not a Republican, but you know what I'm saying.
Yes. Well, I have one more question for you, and this is just speculation. I'm just wondering. Do you think it could have been Andy Ogles that did this?
Say it again, Larry. I missed that.
Do you think it could have been Andy Ogles that did this?
I don't know, because I don't know where those connections are. And those that have been in the state and following politics longer than me perhaps do. I mean, I don't know who Glenn Cassida aligned himself with. Obviously, Glenn Cassida was a faction. I don't know who his allies were in the State House. Was it? I mean, I could throw out names, but I'm hesitant to do that because I don't want to associate these names together if they are not to be associated. I mean, who did Glenn Cassida run with? I don't know. I don't know who that. I don't know that answer.
But I also heard today that it could have been John Rich, and I hope the hell that it's not, because if, as much as I appreciate everything that John Rich has done especially for Cheatham County. And I hope you find a place in Cheatham County, dude.
Apparently the Nashville, but apparently the Nashville Banner has credited John Rich for getting the pardon to Donald Trump's office. I don't know. I like John. John's a friend of the show. I have no idea why John would publicly call for the pardon of these two individuals. If they violated the public trust, if you think that they got too much time, that's one thing. That's fine and well and good. If you think that it was an overcharge, that's equally fine and well and good. But this idea of exonerating them for the crimes committed, I mean, that's just ridiculous. And if it is John Rich, then John and I will have to in a friendly fashion, disagree on this point.
Well, and I will. I mean, if it turns, and I hope the heck that it's not, because I really do appreciate John Rich and everything that he's done. Okay, but if it does come out that he did do this, then that's just kind of going to place a shadow over him for me from now on. I mean, it just is. But listen, I love you, brother. I love Brother Ken.
Well, he loves you too. Love your brother, Larry.
Well, Action Jackson is the best, by the way.
Well, let's not get crazy.
Thank you. Finally, somebody appreciates me.
Larry, the storm seems to be affecting our connection. Unfortunately, we'll have to let you go. That's too bad. I'm sure you had many other great things to say about Jackson Williams. Sadly, the connection was interrupted. What? I can't let you get full of yourself, man. Got to temper these accolades.
Hey, Ken, you want to see something funny?
Yes, sir.
All right, we're late for the news. We'll be right back. Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
It's not even time for the news, Jackson. Hi, friends. It's Matt Murphy for Eurofix. I consider Aaron Stokes to be a friend of all Nashville, Tennessee, and all the surrounding communities, and certainly a friend of folks who have a European automobile. Let's talk about this, friends. If you want to know a place where European auto repair does not feel like European auto repair, I'm here to tell you the moment you walk into Eurofix, you'll notice that Eurofix is not your typical greasy garage. Waiting rooms are clean, they're comfortable, they're inviting. Service areas are spotless. Why? Because Eurofix cares about the things that they do, from how you're treated to how your vehicle is treated. Every repair comes with a rock-solid 3-year, 36,000-mile nationwide warranty on all repairs performed by Eurofix. Plus, you get a rental car available at every appointment. Locations in Nashville, Franklin, Belmead, Murfreesboro, and Mount Juliet. Folks, don't go anywhere else. Go to Eurofix. That's the place to be when it comes to repair of your European automobile. You're going to save money that way. 844-EUROFIX. That's 844-EUROFIX, or online at myyurofix.com. myyurofix.com.
6 o'clock on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We no longer have any severe thunderstorm warnings at the moment. Now, we still have some strong storms in the area. We got one over Murfreesboro, and then another line developing back to the north and west of Nashville that is moving east, but nothing severe at the moment. A good part of Middle Tennessee is still under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock, except for Williamson, Dixon, Cheatham, Davidson, Sumner, Robertson, and Montgomery counties. Everybody else still under that tornado watch until 10 o'clock. Full forecast and traffic coming up in 5 minutes. In our nation's capital, Republicans have rejected Senate Democrat leader Chuck Schumer's offer to end the government shutdown. Schumer said Democrats would approve a short-term funding measure if it included a one-year extension of Obamacare tax subsidies instead of a permanent extension. Well, Majority Leader John Thune said no, end the government shutdown, and then we'll negotiate health care for all, not just Obamacare. Former Tennessee's House Speaker Glenn Cassida and his ex-chief of staff Cade Cothran have been pardoned by President Trump, not former, by the current President Trump. Too many formers in here. This is after convictions in a corruption scheme involving a fake consulting firm. But former state rep Robin Smith, who cooperated and testified against them, was not pardoned. Her attorney, Ben Rose of the Rose Law Firm, telling WTN's Matt Murphy Show.
Well, it's unjust, is what we've said, and it's something that can be corrected by a pardon. Remember, a presidential pardon, it's in the Constitution. A president can pardon someone for a good reason, for a bad reason, or for no reason. And we think in all those instances, in terms of presidential power, that this is an injustice that can be fixed by a presidential pardon, and that's what we're calling for.
Yeah, Rose maintains only a full pardon, not a commutation. And Rose is scheduled to report to prison in January to serve an 8-year term. Here in Nashville, Metro Public Health confirming Nashville's first measles case since 2005. Officials say the patient was unvaccinated and had recently traveled. Health teams are tracing contacts and urging anyone without the MMR vaccine to get immunized at local clinics. Measles can cause severe complications, according to doctors, including death. Health officials say vaccination remains the best protection. That's the latest news. Traffic and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. B&A got a crash blocking the left lane. It's going to be 40 eastbound at exit 216A in Madison. Gallatin Pike south of Old Hickory Boulevard. Bellshire, a crash 24 westbound near Briley Parkway. And then in Franklin, we've got a crash 65 southbound near Paytonsville Road, Goose Creek bypass. Rural Hill, a crash 24 westbound near Bell Road. And in Whites Creek, a crash 24 westbound near the Clay Lick Road overpass. Murfreesboro, a crash 24 westbound near Old Fort Parkway. Brentwood, a crash 65 northbound at Old Hickory Boulevard. And then west of Nashville, we still have the bridge work, shutting 40 westbound down to a 151-minute delay. You've got bridge work there in Humphreys County, so westbound to 40 down to one lane. And now eastbound 40, you've got a crash. Actually, this is westbound 42 in Hickman County. That's right past Bucksnort. So westbound to 40 is a complete mess if you're trying to get out of Nashville and over to Jackson or Memphis. I'm Ken Weaver.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN, Matt Murphy Show, final hour of the week. It's going to be a fun one, I can guarantee you that. It's episode 920 of our gatherings together. And I thank you for being a part, hopefully, of every single one of them, if that's the case. Thanks to Freddie O'Connell, the mayor of Nashville. If you missed the mayor of Nashville, I don't agree with Freddie on a lot of things, but I do appreciate the fact that he's willing to come on into the firing line and answer questions of you, the listening audience, and answer questions of me. We appreciate that. Ben Rose was on earlier. He's the attorney representing Robin Smith. And we had him on because, Robin Smith was the third part of that stool that involved Glenn Cassida and Kate Cothran, right? And this was a trifecta of people that did wrongdoing. They were guilty of human services fraud. She pled guilty, will be serving 8 months in prison starting in January, and she didn't get a pardon. And the president, say what you will about it, he pardons the other two guys that did get convicted based in part on her testimony, but he didn't pardon her, which seems very awkward and odd. So thanks to Ben for coming on and giving his perspective, and, of course, Jay St. Clair. I've been wanting to get this guy back on the show for a long time. He came into Nashville, Tennessee in 2023. And he has absolutely just blown up online, blown up on social media. You probably follow him. You probably watch his podcast. And I am learning how to say his last name for the first time because for some reason I have a mental block about it, but I'm going to try to do it. I'm going to blow through it. It's Sean Farish. Farish. For the love of God, can I get it right? It's Sean Farish.
You got it.
And Sean, I love you.
Oh, yeah, man.
You're so great.
Likewise, man. I'm excited to be back, here, and having some fun with you.
It's fabulous to have you on.
A stormy afternoon, right?
You drove in from what, Murfreesboro?
Murfreesboro, yeah. Right through the biggest, reddest storm on the radar. It was great.
Was it good?
I love the weather. We had golf ball sized hail over the spring.
Yeah.
And we had to get our roof replaced. And I was dancing. I mean, I wasn't in it, but I was running around screaming because I love extreme weather, like storm chasers.
What experience did you have? You're New York, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
New York guy.
Oh, yeah.
Where'd you grow up?
Long Island. Right. So 40 miles east of the city.
That's wow. I can't imagine. What was life like? But Long Island's like.
It's not the city.
It's not the city.
It's not the city. It's impacted by the city. You get a lot of influence from the city. It's connected very much connected to the city by the railroad. So you can hop on a train, whether on the North Shore, South Shore, Long Island. You could be in the city in an hour, and it's easy. You sit on the train. Now the trains used to be, not that scary. And then the De Blasio, once De Blasio came in, started not allowing the cops to do their jobs. That's when things started to get a little crazy. So that's pre-COVID still, though. That's like 2018, 2019. Friends of mine would go in. We'd hit a few bars in the city. It was fun. We'd make a night out of it. You don't have to drive because we got the train. Someone would pick us up from the train station. So it was an easy night for us, you know. But, I mean, you get out of Penn Station. It's homeless everywhere. Everywhere. And this is pre-COVID. And now it's worse. I mean, when I left in 2023, and my wife's from Florida, and we met online, and she moved up with me for the last 6 months when we were in New York to help me with I was working with the Zeldin campaign, big grassroots organization we started on Long Island, protesting Cuomo, and that's a whole nother thing. But we're driving home from, ironically, a New York Jets game, and I said to her, you know, the Jets aren't the worst thing you're going to see tonight. We're going through the city. And there was literally a guy, you know, doing number 2 on the sidewalk, and she's like, is he? I was like, yeah. That's what it is.
I have a buddy that is a former producer of mine from Birmingham, and he moved to New York. He wanted to make it in the big city, and he started in radio. He worked for WABC. He worked for Curtis Lewa for a while, was his producer for a minute. And now he works for a local all-news television station up there. He's a overnight guy. And he tells me the same story. He said even when he first went to New York in like 2017, 2018, he said it was it's the big city. You're going to have homeless. You're going to have all of that. But now, this is what he says. He said he and his partner live in Greenwich, which is a fancy place in Manhattan. It's high dollar. And he said, I have to walk by people pooping in the street to get to my door. And he's like,
but they still vote for it, though. That's the craziest thing. There's so many people. I'm like, do you want to step through poo on the sidewalk? They're like, no. So then vote for the guy who isn't going to allow the people to keep doing that. Right? Like, this is real simple. I always say, like, when you're looking for find a common ground with maybe somebody you don't agree with, I feel like a great place to start is like, so if I gave you the choice of a safe community and an unsafe community, and the cost is exactly the same, the only thing that's different, same house, same cost, where would you go? Safe or unsafe? 99% of people would say safe.
Sane people would say safe.
Right. But then what happens to like a third of them, almost more, after that? Because I feel like that's a good place. And there's only one side, so to speak, that is promoting policies that would create safe communities. So what happens? We say 99% or 80% or 70%, but like the country is 50-50. Why? What happens to some of those people where they drop off and they're like, well, I would trade a safe community for, you know?
So I saw this was a 5-second clip that was emblematic of what happened in New York, in my opinion. It was a guy on the street, you know, like in Central Park, and he's interviewing people. And the clip was 2 questions. Who did you vote for? Oh, I voted for Mamdani. Do you support socialism? Oh, no, of course not. Then what the hell are you doing?
What are you doing?
What?
This is the problem with New York, too, and I explained this to a lot of people. After Mamdani won the primary, they're like, well, what if Cuomo splits the vote and Sliwa? And I was like, guys, you don't understand. In New York City, it's so robotic the way the electorate works. A pair of sweaty gym socks, if it was listed on the ballot as socks, sweaty gym, Democrat would win. That's all they're looking for. They don't know. Some of these people don't know they voted for a socialist. They just know they voted for somebody who said he was a Democrat. And it's not Andrew Cuomo because nobody wants that again.
Right, and it'll be the definition of FAFO. I mean, they'll get it. They'll figure it out. I mean, eventually. But sadly, what's going to happen is the people unable to leave the city are going to be left behind, and the people that do have the ability to leave the city will. Which kind of leads us to the Bill Lee thing. But before we get away from it, you talk about making making more complex issues as simple as possible and finding those common ground.
Yeah.
That common ground. Yeah. Like I had Afton Bain. She's ghosting me now. And by the way, somebody asked me. I signed up for her little town hall today with Jasmine Crockett and got let in, and then they kicked me out.
Oh,
so originally I had tickets, and then they said, "Oh, we've got too many people, so we've got to do a lottery system," and I was not allowed in the lottery system. So that's just answering the question from the listeners. But I asked Bain. And all these liberals that come on the show, that are willing to come on the show, it's like, should there be, when we talk about immigrants, should there be rules to get in? Don't tell me what the rules should be. Just, should there be rules?
Right. Let's start there.
Should there be rules?
Let's start with something real basic. And it's like, take it down to their house.
And 99% of the people, all the same people say, well, yeah, sure, there should
be. Are there rules to get into your home? Right? Like, of course, you need permission.
Should there be rules? Should there be rules? Let's not talk about what the rules are. Should there be rules?
Right.
Yes, there should be rules. Okay, let's skip what the rules are. What do you do to the people that break the rules?
Right. Why are the rules there?
Do you just let them break the rules?
Exactly. Rules don't matter unless they're enforced.
Right. Or are there consequences to breaking the rules? We can get to what the rules should be. That's the more complex aspect of this for serious-minded people. But don't tell me that there should be rules and then just let people break the rules without any consequence. It doesn't make any sense.
Because there's no reason to have the rule then, right? Like if paying my speeding tickets was optional, I wouldn't pay it.
Right.
Same with my taxes. I just wouldn't. If there was no penalty, right? Like no enforcement of those laws, I wouldn't do it.
No.
They're like, no, you have to be a good guy. I say, well, I am abiding by a law-abiding citizen. If it is not legally binding for me to do that, I would, that's it.
Well, it's Donald Trump said it in 2016 when they were going after him on his taxes. He was like, of course I did everything I could do to not pay taxes. Everybody, so did she. He said
People
it during the debate.
that's what accountants' jobs are. To make you pay as less as possible.
Well, no, I have it on good authority from the socialist who is now in charge of New York City that people are genuinely good and good-hearted, and they want to pay extra.
Of course.
They're going to pay extra. Everybody's going to do the right thing.
That's why none of them opt to ever send more than what they owe in taxes, right? I'm like, oh, you want to pay more? You start. You can, if you give the government an extra $1,000 and they're not going to say, hey, I think you made a mistake.
No, they'll keep it.
Keep it
and
that's it.
Mamdani taught us that, he said this like 2 or 3 years ago, that criminal behavior is because of past experience, negative experience on the individuals committing the criminal behavior. And so if we get to the root cause of that negative experience, then we'll eliminate the behavior. As if there aren't just bad people in the world.
Right. And you have criminal behavior like shoplifting, assault, DUI, things like that, right? And you
go back to their childhood.
So it's like, well, let's send in the social worker. What is the social worker going to do at Bank of America when the teller's being held at gunpoint? Hey, let's talk about your past experiences. Have you suffered abuse? You're going to get shot. This is there was when I was still in New York, around like 3 or 4 months left, there was literally a whole thing about if somebody in New York City says, is about to mug you, instead of confronting them, ask if you went to high school with them. It may get them to stop. Or say, please don't. Please don't. The guy's holding a knife.
Right.
Like, what is he going to do?
Please don't.
But this is how silly New York was. When I tell people, they go, what brought you to Tennessee? I always say New York brought me to Tennessee because I couldn't do it anymore. The curfews, the rules, the bizarre, quote unquote science of Cuomo during COVID. When I tell people those stories, they're like, they don't believe me. They're like, but usually when I'm in front of a room and I'm telling that story, there's at least 1 or 2 New York refugees. And I always go, if you were from New York in that time, raise your hand. And I say, I'm not lying. And they go, yeah, every last bit of it was true. These rules, he was a tyrant. That's why people say, oh, do you think Cuomo can win the election? There are a handful of people in New York that will never vote for him again because of what he did. Never. It was horrible.
And I hear stories from my friends who lived on the island who said that it was like a zombie apocalypse movie.
It was.
During COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just, and
my
if
favorite
you went
part,
outside,
actually,
you get arrested.
That was my favorite part when there was nobody on the road because I was still working. I worked for Sherwin-Williams and their lawyers found a way to keep our store open. So it was great. I was selling paint in the middle of a pandemic. And you would not be
essential job.
Essential job. You would not be, you would be shocked how many people with the stimulus check painted their living room multiple times. I saw people come in throughout the course of the month. They painted it 2-3 different colors. I said, why not buy crypto? Good idea. Back in 2020. But I'm driving in and it's like the first time in my life there's never been traffic. I was like, yes, everybody on Long Island, stay home, save lives. This is great. But other than that, everything being closed was terrible.
So what did you know about Tennessee when you came here?
That there was no state income tax. That was it. No state income tax.
And I know that I call them the unicorns. These are the people that have been here all of their lives. I know that they get tired of hearing me say this, but for those that haven't been here that long, I don't know that Tennessee natives recognize how good they have it.
Yeah.
I don't know that they do because I lived in red states.
Mm-hmm.
I lived in Alabama for 20 years. I grew up in Georgia. Georgia is a formerly red state, now purple state. Thank you, Atlanta.
Right.
But even these states had income taxes. Even these states had, more government that I see in Tennessee. And I understand that Tennessee's not perfect, but Tennessee's pretty good.
Nowhere's going to be perfect, by the way. You're never going to get perfection. Okay? It's just not going to happen. So demanding perfection means automatic letdown, right? Even some of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball, they win the game, but they don't pitch a perfect game every time. That doesn't mean they had a bad game. They still won. Your team still won. That's probably the most important thing you would ask any player on a team.
So in the aftermath of the elections that happened the other day, a lot of people in the state, a lot of my listeners, because we talked about Governor Bill Lee's message to New Yorkers, particularly business owners in New York, that, hey, we're open. Just come on down. We're a freedom-loving state. If you love freedom, security, if you love personal independence, if you want your business to thrive in a state that believes in that, come on down. People are like, no, Tennessee's full. Tennessee's full. I get it. I understand you're fearful that people are bringing something with them. And I tell them all the time, these folks are running from something. They're not bringing what they're running from with them. They're running to what we have here.
Right. I'm one of those people, right? So I was one of those people when I posted the morning I was moving. I'm moving to Tennessee from New York. And there were a lot of people who followed me who were like, oh, great, they're going to love you there. And then there were some people who didn't follow me and were like, we don't want you. Go away. And so actually, John Rich jumped in the comments and was like, we're going to be so excited to have you here. And people were like, oh, if John Rich likes him, he must be fine. And I was like, oh, whew.
You gotta get Rich on your side.
But it was great. And I saw the whole Bill Lee thing, and I understand the argument of like there's a lot of people moving in and the farmland is going away and there's a lot of subdivisions popping up. But it's not all people that aren't going to vote like us. So there was a study done recently, I want to say a year or so ago, that like 80% of the refugees from California are conservatives, are voting Republican when they come to Tennessee. And so it's kind of different post-COVID because like what I saw after the Mamdani election in New York City, I saw a lot of people who, I would agree with say, I have to get out of here. But I saw some people I don't agree with going, I want to go to New York. Liberals moving to New York City because they think it's going to be paradise. Go. By all means, go. So like post-COVID, I feel like the whole migration trends in the United States, it's not necessarily blue voters fleeing from blue states en masse. It's red voters fleeing from blue states because they saw what happens during a national emergency. They don't want that. They don't want that to be their life. They're done. They're going to contribute to a state like Tennessee, like Florida, like Texas. And that's what I did. And it's been great.
Unlike your podcast, we have to take commercial breaks. And I want to talk about your podcast in a moment. I want to talk about the first time you ever did Trump, when you realized you could do Trump. I mean, for those that don't know, Sean is the best Trump impersonation on planet Earth. I mean,
Nobody does a better job. Matt knows that. Nobody does a better job. And he's a tremendous person, too, a very nice guy.
So I'll ask other questions. Is it hard when you start? Is it hard to get out of it? All these things will happen in a moment with Sean Farish on Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Alpha and Omega Computer Consultation is your one-stop shop for all things computer needs and IT if you own a business. So let's talk to you business owners for a moment. 70% of cyber attacks target small to medium-sized businesses. You don't hear a lot about these because, well, they're small to medium-sized businesses. Businesses along the size of probably yours. If you're a business owner and you're doing IT yourself, might I suggest humbly that you're doing it wrong? Because if you're not in the computer business, you don't know as well as Alpha and Omega knows about the computer industry. 24-hour-a-day protection, business continuity, a local help desk, evolving threats, compliance for all industry. They do it all at Alpha and Omega, which is why I heartily recommend them. Michael and his team want to talk with you. If your IT contract is up or if you're doing it yourself and you're looking to get an IT company on your side, let's go with Alpha and Omega. 615-784-0096, 784-0096, or online at a&o.net. That's a&o.net.
Government shutdown is nowhere near ending. I'll tell you why. Coming up at 6:30 on Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Matt Murphy Show. Thank you for being with us. 26 minutes after the hour. Sean Farish is with us as well. Podcast is?
Ungoverned. It's on Rumble, rumble.com at 10 a.m. Eastern, so 9 Central, every day, Monday through Friday.
You enjoying it?
I love it. We love it. We have so much fun. You
got to have a good time over there.
We always do. We try, Sometimes it's a little tough, right? The news is real heavy, especially with, Charlie in the last 90 days or so. It's been tough, but...
So I wanted to talk to you about this because you've not been afraid of it. I've stayed largely away from it because I don't know. I'm not above it. I'm not beneath it. I've stayed away from it.
Mm-hmm.
But there seems to be internally within the conservative influencer community kind of a vacuum, a void. Obviously, Charlie left a huge void, and there seems to be, tell me if I'm wrong, like a power struggle.
A little bit. I'll tell you what's going on, I think, and this has been what's going on. It's largely because of how the internet works and how the algorithms work. The truth doesn't sell. I mean, you remember maybe a year ago in New Jersey, there was apparently a drone the size of a school bus launching motherships on remember the whole thing with the drones?
Yeah.
It was a military test. And there was a private contractor that was going to wind up selling their drone to the military potentially. There was a press release about it in June of 2023 that said that exact corridor where all the drones were, that was going to be experiencing, testing and research and development. It was out there, but everyone had to tell you that it was aliens or some crazy thing or Iran or it was
China, whatever.
Sensationalism sells more than the truth. And so like you in radio, Howard Stern. I grew up in New York. He was an icon there for a while because he was a shock jock, right? So you never knew what he was going to say, okay? And every time he said something outrageous, here came the publicity. And so that's exactly what the algorithms on social media are doing. If you say something reasonable, people will be like, oh, that's reasonable.
Isn't that nice?
I'll just leave that alone. When someone says something wild, that's what gets the interaction. Either it's love, it's hate, it's shares, it's reposts. So people just make things up, sensationalize them. They get the clicks and the views, and then the algorithm favors their account because their account is picking up interaction, which it views as a good thing. And so basically, I call these people online shock jocks. That's what they are. And they have to they can't maintain the status quo with the baseline or their art gets stale. So they got to go further and further and further.
Yeah, and now psychologically feeds them to do more of it.
Dopamine. And now we're at, it was, hey, let's stop sending foreign aid to other countries and being hardline about that, which I'm a hardliner. I don't like foreign aid. I would like to keep all the money here if we could. But it's gone from that to,
the Jews control everything.
Team Hitler. I was like, whoa. How did we get here? Well, because that's the next step in what they need to, in the sensationalism. That's it. And it's rewarded. That's the problem.
All right, quick time out for news, and we'll come back and continue this discussion. And I truly want to get into the background of, obviously, you are beyond your impersonation of Donald Trump. But I feel like your impersonation of Donald Trump is like old Stones songs where they've done so much more, you've done so much better, you do so much great work, but to deny the good work that got you here.
No, I appreciate that.
Does that make sense?
Totally.
That's a total compliment to you.
100%, yeah.
I feel like it sounds like an insult, but it's not.
No, it's good. It's all good.
So we're gonna throw that down in a moment with Sean Farish. It is Super Talk 99.7 WTN.
.30 on the dot. I'm Ken Weaver with your top stories. We still have a good part of Middle Tennessee under a tornado watch until 10 o'clock. Still tracking some strong showers and storms out there. Nothing severe at the moment. Full forecast and traffic in 5 minutes. The government shutdown not about to end, with Senate Republicans today turning their thumbs down at a Democratic proposal to restore agency funding. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy with the latest.
The offer from Minority Leader Chuck Schumer was to drop the Democrats' filibuster of a government funding bill if the GOP would agree to a one-year extension of expiring subsidies for plans sold on the health insurance exchanges.
We need Republicans to just say yes.
The top Republicans swiftly rejected the proposal, with Majority Leader John Thune calling it a non-starter. GOP leaders have been firm that there won't be any negotiation over the expiring Obamacare tax credits until the shutdown ends. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Money News, Michelle Franzen.
Stocks were down all day, weighed by tech stocks, including several big names with huge valuations. The Nasdaq specifically seeing its deepest losses since April, down 155 points. The Dow lost 74 and the S&P was down 8. Nvidia's stock is down about 10% this week amid investor concerns over the chip makers' valuations. Tesla, Apple, and Broadcom also lost ground. Investors were also reacting to the latest economic report out of the University of Michigan, which shows consumer sentiment dropped to a 3-year low in November. Consumers are feeling pessimistic about both their personal finances and anticipated business conditions, with the government shutdown weighing heavily on their minds. Payments company Block, which operates the Square and Cash App businesses, sank after turning in results that fell short of forecasts.
That's the latest news, traffic, and weather next. I'm Ken Weaver, WTN News. All right, Franklin still got a crash 65 southbound near Paytonsville Road, Goose Creek bypass, Rowell Hill 24 westbound near Bell Road, Glencliff 24 eastbound near Briley Parkway, and then Smyrna a crash on the left shoulder 24 westbound near the Rocky Fork Road overpass. Whites Creek, we've got a crash 24 westbound near the Clay Lick Road overpass. Now we've got 2 crashes 40 westbound west of Nashville where it's been slow all day long. The first crash is going to be just past Bucksnort. And then it's not a crash. I should correct myself. It's bridge work that has 40 westbound down to 1 lane in Humphreys County. And that is now a 3-hour, actually 3.5-hour delay. I'm Ken Weaver.
What's up, fellas and ladies? Let's talk for a moment about USS. That's United Structural Systems. A lot of rain moving through our community over the last 4 or 5 hours. Thankfully, if you are safe, secure, if you got a good foundation, you don't have to worry about it. But if you don't, if you smell the musty, moldy smells in your basement or your crawl space, Tennessee's the type of place with the topography that we have that could easily become a major issue, and USS is here to solve that. Since 1994, they've been keeping homes stable and dry in Middle Tennessee, and they've been doing it the right way. They have over 30,000 satisfied customers, and with those customers come incredible testimonials about the work that they do at residences around this state. So if you have foundation issues and you've noticed the signs, I'm talking about door sticking, window sticking, that type of thing, or if you've noticed musty, moldy smells, like I mentioned, or if you've got concrete that's cracking or unlevel, you need to call the specialist, called USS. They're problem solvers. Give them a call today at 615-488-7855, 488-7855, or online at USSTN.com. And see, people don't know what a Wawa is. Hold on. Thank you, Jackson. People don't know what a Wawa around here is.
No,
I know
I'm
what
excited
a Wawa
about
is.
it. I'm excited.
Are you?
Yes.
I mean,
they got good coffee.
Do they?
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the last time I went in a Wawa. It was in it feels like Pennsylvania.
We didn't
Is that a
have them in New
Pennsylvania?
York. It's a Pennsylvania thing.
Yeah.
It's a Florida thing. It's a Jersey thing. Now it's going to be a Tennessee thing. Murfreesboro's getting like 3 of them, 4 of them.
Off air, we were talking about the Buc-ee's, which Buc-ee's is an experience that you just don't get until you walk in it. And you're like, oh, I get it. It's like a gas station and a mall had sex and had a baby in there.
That's exactly what it is. The first time my wife and I walked into a Buc-ee's, we were like, what is going on? I just want to go to the bathroom, which are very clean. So it's
insanely well, and at Buc-ee, I'm a little trepidatious about the bathrooms at Buc-ee's, and here's why: if you go into the stall, like I'd like a little time between the stall moment and when the dude is coming to the stall to clean it. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's way too quick. I'm walking out of there. It's like, hey, give it a second.
It's a guilt thing.
Yeah, can I wash my hands and leave before you go in there and you're freaking out? But yeah, no, they're insanely clean. But here's the amazing thing about Buc-ee's, and we do this a lot because my wife Erica, her parents live in Alabama, and so we get the Buc-ee's in Athens. It is just as quick to go to a Buc-ee's as any other gas station in America.
There's a lot of ways in, a lot of ways out.
A lot of ways in, a lot of ways
It's not
out,
too
a
bad.
lot of pumps, and you can get into the chaos as much as you want it, or you can not get into the chaos if you don't want it. Speaking of chaos, we were talking about the influencers. It feels like on social media there is somewhat and maybe I'm misreading it. Maybe I'm too close to the forest. I mean, the divide between how much involvement the United States of America should have in the Israeli-Hamas conflict suddenly blossomed into Israel controls everything in the United States of. I mean, right?
Yeah.
Doesn't it feel that way?
It does. That's the problem. We can talk about how much involvement we should have in the Israel-Hamas conflict. I'll talk about that all day because I'm one of the people who would say, we probably should be involved as little as possible.
Amen.
Right? It's America first, right? And then, it has become, well, if you think that we should support in any way, right? In any way, right? You are paid by AIPAC. You know how many times I've been accused of taking $7,000 for a post? I'm like, dude, I wish. You tell me who's handing out $7,000 checks to tweet, and I will tweet. Okay, we'll talk about what I'll tweet, but they're like, you're paid by AIPAC, and I'm like, really? I'm paid by AIPAC?
It's news to me.
That's great because I don't know. Does anybody know the AIPAC guy? The one who's handing out the checks? Because I haven't met him yet.
Because if you do, Matt at murphyshow.com. Don't go to Farish first. Come to me.
Well, hook a
first,
brother up.
please.
You can have Matt. Matt can take some AIPAC.
We'll take a little $7,000. But then I get
Exactly.
but then I get this guy. You crack me up, Matt. You talk about nonsense of electing a communist mayor, but not wanting to talk bleep on the streets. But then when it comes to Charlie Kirk's death, you don't want to talk about facts. You want to push it off as influencer competition. Unbelievable. Ask the simple question. He didn't get off the... So here we go with the conspiracy. So he didn't get off the roof with a rifle, blah, blah, blah. John, I love you. And I tell Candace I said hello.
Exactly.
It's what you're saying. That I get that we should not trust the people that are in charge to tell us the truth.
Sure.
I understand that.
Fine. Healthy distrust of government is their stat. It's healthy.
But when it rises to the level of Donald Trump's involved and the Turning Point USA crowd's involved and that Erica Kirk had it just gets to the point of not only are you insulting me, you're hurting people.
Well, and you're giving cover to the people who desperately need it. Right. So
the political left that's radicalizing. Right.
Exactly. Right. So they needed the cover. You have the nailed against the wall. You have a guy who is dating a transgender, furry, whatever, who wrote Antifa lingo on the bullets, who thought Charlie Kirk was a fascist, who, hey, fascist catch was on the bullets. And his parents said he was radicalized. You have everything that you need to nail the radical left to the wall, saying your rhetoric. Right. And I'm not saying we have to crack down on free speech. We're just saying he didn't come up with those ideas by himself, right? So you have them nailed to the wall, and you're telling me it was Egypt, it was the Mormons, it was Turning Point USA, it was Israel, it was a B cult, it was Erica. I mean, you're telling me it was everybody but the left. So nobody could do a better job cleaning up on aisle 2 for the left than these people who have accused everybody except the radical left. And they say, before they say, oh, I didn't accuse anyone, I'm just asking questions. Then how come you haven't asked the question, did the radical left do this? They've asked everything else, right? Everything. Underground tunnel people, right? Now there's someone said that it was Charlie's clip-on mic. Guys, a deranged radical leftist killed Charlie Kirk and like confessed in multiple group chats. And then his parents turned him in. Like, oh, who texts like that? I'm sorry. Do you know any 22 or whatever year olds who are radical leftists in a relationship with a transgender furry who just murdered somebody in cold blood? They're like, he doesn't text like a normal person. He's not a normal person. He's a cold-blooded killer, right? I mean, what am I? And I'm sitting there going, what am I missing? And they're like, well, you're missing everything and you're taking money. And I'm like, all right, goodbye. That's it.
You just aren't opening your eyes, man.
I mean,
you just got to open your eyes. Come on.
What else do you guys need to see?
Well, if everything is a conspiracy, nothing's a conspiracy. And for some, sadly, everything is a conspiracy. And for me, the fascination is how much of this do people truly believe and how much of it is a psychological, they're chasing something psychological.
It was a dopamine hit. But let me look. Watch. This is what they do. Let me ask you, this is you're a sane, rational person, okay? You go to sleep, you wake up in the morning, everything is wet outside. What is your assumption? What happened?
It rained.
It rained. Candace would say that's what they want you to believe.
Oh, yeah.
It was actually the Mossad. They hijacked a fire truck, plugged it into a fire hydrant, and made you think it rained. But it was actually Israel. Every time. She is a centimeter away of blaming the Titanic on Jews because she thinks iceberg is somebody's last name. This is, I'm telling you, it is crazy. And I'm not sitting there crying anti-Semitism. I'm just saying it can't be Israel every time. It's every time. And they talk about Israel more than they talk about America. So who's really not America first here? Right?
Well, and now I believe it's getting exponentially worse now that you have a ceasefire because they don't have anything to point their ire toward. And so now they're kind of pointing toward one another and they're infighting toward one another.
Yeah.
And you know, and hopefully it'll burn itself out. You call crazy, and then I get told that I'm crazy because I just don't open my eyes and yada, yada, yada.
The whole nine.
And the whole bit. So, all right, back to you. When did you realize you could do Trump?
I was selling DirecTV, and I used it as a part of my pitch face-to-face. I had people on Long Island who would ask, if I switch, am I going to get Fox News, which to me usually signaled that they're Republicans.
Sure.
So I would just look at them and say, I would never take it away from you. I would never do that. You think I would do that? We would never do that. I won't make you watch the fake news. Look at the fake news. And we, CNN, all that, make the jokes, and they thought that was really funny. I stopped selling DirecTV because cable became very difficult to sell and paint was very easy to sell. But the same deal, my contractors were a lot of blue-collar guys, hardworking conservatives, right? And so they thought the same thing.
And what is this? Is this 2015, 2016,
this
2017?
This is about 2015 to around 2018, I was doing DirecTV. And then from 2018 onwards, I did Sherwin-Williams paint, and it was great. It puts itself on the wall, Matt. I have to tell you, it's great paint. It's amazing.
It's not, and I know you hear this all the time, it's not the voice. It's the pattern and the manner of speaking.
Got to watch a lot of Trump. I watched a lot of Trump.
You've got it, and you've completely
But
got
I didn't
down.
watch it for the reason of, I want to learn how to sound like this guy. I enjoyed his rallies. So I just watched it. And then I'm from New York. He's from New York. So it's kind of, there's a little bit there.
And watching Trump is like holding a box of frogs, right? It's jumping all over the place. You never know which way it's going to go.
It's called the weave.
Given second. Is that what it is?
He calls it the weave. You start on one spot. And you go all the way out, but you eventually come back. And Trump said to Joe Rogan, I think last year before the election, that you have to be very smart to do the weave. Most people wind up not ever getting back to where you started. So of course there was something about how he's the greatest and best.
My grandmother told the longest stories on the history of planet Earth, but she always knew how to get back.
Good, yeah.
But that is it will petrify 25-year-old Matt Murphy when she's telling you she's in the middle of a story and you realize She's gone from I was feeding the dogs, and now it's 2 weeks ago, and she's in the middle of Winn-Dixie, and you're like, my God, we've got to get all the way back to the dogs.
How are we
I don't know how we're getting back to the dogs, but I know that we have that long, and Trump's that way. You're like, I know we're coming back at some point, but we're way far away from it, and we got to come back, and this is going to last an hour.
And that's why I think a lot of people listen to him because he kind of takes you on a trip, where it's not boring because he's lightening up, he's being funny, and this person was stupid and this person was great and all this, and he does eventually get back to the main point.
So tell me about, would 2016, 27, could you have conceived of being retweeted by,
no.
You've had a direct interaction with the President of the United States.
Yeah. So that was wild with the sombrero. Because they started, and this is the best part why I will say thank you, Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer, because had they just not made a big deal over it, like kind of how J.D. Vance disarms these people with the memes, he'll just make that his profile picture, right? Hakeem Jeffries went on the next morning on all the media and started crying about it's bigotry, it's this. So then people made more sombreros and more memes. And I was like, oh, I have one already because I do, Cinco de Porto, the joke. And I had the poncho already because I was doing, Spanish with Trump, a bit that I did, a year and a half ago or so. And I was like, well, might as well jump on the trend. It's just a trend. And it went, completely nuclear. And then Trump reposted. I went nuts. It was crazy. It's crazy because I want to know when he made the decision, like, I'm going to post that. I think this is great.
So I was talking, this is before, this is during his first term. I had a buddy of mine, Cliff Sims, worked in social media. He was in the White House every day. He was, just off the Oval, and he wasn't in charge or anything, but he was a part of that group that worked social media for the president.
Mm-hmm.
And he told me a story one time. He said, "You want to know what Donald Trump's like?" And I was like, "Is he really? This is the guy." And he's right. And he goes, "Yeah." Right. And he said, "Yeah, of course it is. It's not us. We don't do that." And you remember? And he said, "Let me tell you this story." He said, we get in early. We get in like 6 o'clock in the morning." And he's posted something. He told me what it was, but it was like explosive. And he was like, "Oh my God, what are we going to do with this? Look at this. What are we doing?" And he said there's 4 of us sitting in a room together going, "What the hell are we supposed to do with this? What? Oh my God, what are we going to do?" And he said, the President of the United States walks around the corner, peeks his head around the corner and looks at him and goes, "Did you see it?"
Of course.
And he goes, he's so proud of himself.
Of course.
And it's at 2 o'clock in the morning. "Did you see it?"
He doesn't sleep. Trump doesn't sleep. Yeah, we saw it.
Yeah, we saw it. We got to clean up now. Thanks.
I love that about him. And I love that he's the one pushing the buttons, right? I think it's genuine. And, sometimes he'll say things that maybe you ask him on another day, "Hey, should you have said that?" Truth serum. And he would say, maybe I would have done that a little differently. But you know what? He's human. And I think it's refreshing to not see some sort of boilerplate thing posted all the time.
Well, and it's hilarious to watch. Even conservatives and Republicans are doing it too, but particularly Democrats. They're chasing their tails trying to figure it out. And all it is authenticity. That's all it is. And to me, he gets away with so much because he's so authentic. And I can't put my finger on how he gets away with what he does. There's a certain aspect of it that's like, I can't believe it.
Right.
I can't believe that this has happened. Because he is an enormously wealthy New York guy.
Mm-hmm.
And people in Arkansas freaking love him.
Right.
And I don't understand what that secret in the sauce is.
I don't know. I think he's just entertaining.
And he's authentic. And he's authentic.
It's for the same reason why people across the country think, actors and actresses are great. They watch these award shows, not as many anymore, but people still, revere, some of these, Brad Pitt or Leonardo DiCaprio. And I'm like, whatever, they're just an actor. Like, I don't really care. It's like some movies I watch that are good with them in it, and I appreciate their performances.
Are you still having, because you've grown beyond just the Trump thing. You clearly still have fun with it. You still have a good time.
All the time. Oh, yeah. We have a great time with it. And I'll just get a random idea, or I'll have somebody send me an idea. A follower or a friend will be like, "Hey, you remember that lady who stole the baseball from the kid?"
Yeah, the Phillies fan or whatever she was.
The Phillies Karen, yeah. So we woke up and a friend of mine sends me 2 rhyming lines and was like, "You got to do something about it." And I was like, I could work with that. And I took those 2 lines and wrote a whole poem about this lady and read it as Trump, and it was great. But again, I've done this really my whole time since the Trump voice went viral. I'll go on like live streams, TikTok Live or something, and just turn it on and be like, "All right, anybody who's watching, just tell me to do stuff, and I'll improv it." And some of those things make the greatest bits, and I do it with everybody. It's fun.
Who's the you developed during the campaign? You developed a thing with what's her name?
Esty,
Kamala. Yeah, I was doing Kamala, and it reminded me of an old school. So John Lovitz, who might be before your time, he was on SNL for years, and Lovitz did Michael Dukakis. and it was when Michael Dukakis was running against George H.W. Bush. So this is like in the late 1980s, right? And Lovitz tells the story of the night of the election. He was like, I didn't give a crap. I wasn't political. I didn't give a crap who won the presidency of the United States of America. All I knew is that I saw the election results, and I turned around to my wife, and I was like, well, great. Now Dana bleeping Carvey gets to do the president for the next bleeping 4 years.
Exactly.
And I got nothing else.
Right.
And it's like, I felt bad because, you know.
Well, actually, her and I still mess around on TikTok.
Stuff?
Yeah, we have some fun doing like little battles and stuff. It's fun. It's just you got to have fun. And it's and to me, I like spur of the moment. Like every Tuesday night, I'll go on X and do a couple spaces, jump in, and we'll do like fake press conferences and stuff. I have no idea what people are going to ask me, but I answer as Trump, and sometimes it's hilarious. And a lot of bits have come from that too.
All right, one more time with the podcast so people can find you.
Sure, it's on rumble.com/LFATV. The show is Ungoverned. It's on 9 o'clock Central Time, 10 o'clock Eastern Time, Monday through Friday.
What's LFA stand for?
Live from America.
Oh, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah.
Sean Farish, am I still pronouncing your name
You got
right?
it. You nailed it.
Did I get it right the last time?
Yeah.
All right. Right as we end the week, man, brother. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for traveling through the storms. And let's do this again. It's been a lot of fun.
100%. Let me know.
All right. We'll not be back. We're probably done for the week. Jackson, are we finished? Or we will be back? You telling me we will? Okay. Well, we'll come back in a moment on Super Talk. Hey, folks, Matt Murphy here for Men of Valor. What a wonderful organization and what an honor to talk about. The Men of Valor does a couple of things. Number one, they bring men to lives of Jesus Christ within our prison system right here in the state of Tennessee. Number two, I just thought of a third thing, so they do three things now. Number one, they bring men to lives of Jesus Christ. Number two, they don't take a dime from the government to do it. And number three, they actually save us money because they lower recidivism rates in the state of Tennessee. Nationally, the recidivism rate is right around 70% within 3 years. That's a sad figure. 90% of men who are in prison getting out, and 70% of those men within 3 years are going to offend again and go back into the prison system. Men of Valor and what they do, mentoring and discipling men, they turn a 70% recidivism rate into a less than 15% recidivism rate. They turn takers into givers in our community, and that's what it's all about. Your support provides crucial funding and help for Men of Valor at Valor Ridge and otherwise. We invite you to be a part of the family. Volunteer if you can, give if you can to Men of Valor. Go to movministry.com. That's movministry.com. Men of Valor. All right, Super Talk 99.7 WTN. Only a minute or so left. We failed on Nincompoops, and that is on me. My sincerest and humblest apologies. We'll try to make it up to you next week. And we almost failed on the Matt Murphy Movie Mayhem segment, where I give you a movie. Regulars know the segment. I give Jackson Williams a movie. He has to watch over the weekend. He reviews it on Monday. He gives me a movie. Jackson, what's my movie?
A Complete Unknown starring Timothy Chalamet, a Bob Dylan biopic.
You know there are other movies other than biopics. That's the only thing you give me are biopics.
That's the only ones you like.
All right. I'm torn between two prison flicks because I know how you like watching guys in showers. So, all right, I'll give you what you want. Shawshank Redemption.
Yes!
Shawshank Redemption. I know you want it. If you don't like it, you're dead to me, and you need to find another job on Monday. Until Monday, thank you to Sean. Thank you to all the rest of our guests. We'll be back bright and early at 3 p.m. Until then, so long, everybody.
Hey dads, want an epic night with your kids? Head to Nissan Stadium for the Nashville All-Pro Dad Experience. On November 7th from 6 to 8:30 p.m., you'll make memories with your family as you run on the field and enjoy bonding activities. Expect fun, laughs, and fatherhood tips from Tennessee Titans long snapper Morgan Cox to help you be a better dad. All for less than a trip through the drive-thru. Just $35 gets you an unforgettable time with your kids. Register today at allprodad.com/events. The Nashville All-Pro Dad Experience is brought to you by Amazon, Arby's Foundation, Coca-Cola Consolidated, Colgate Bright Smiles